We open in the uncharted wilds north of South Korea, dead silent and deadly, where a squad takes a breather. But the vibes are off. One rookie is sweating bullets, admitting that even with his dungeon experience, he's never stepped foot in a virgin zone like this. Places untouched for centuries are usually crawling with nightmare fuel. The only thing keeping his panic attack at bay, their expedition leader, is from the legendary Lee clan. That means he's the patriarch's brother, right? Royalty. But then a veteran adventurer bursts his bubble. Don't get too comfy. That leader is Liam, the bastard son, the exile. The guy's so weak. He was kicked out years ago. He capped out at rank 7. The rookie's face drops. If things go south, they are completely screwed. Here's the kicker. Liam might be the figurehead, but the real power here is the Shadow Sword Squad. These guys answer directly to the Lee patriarch. They're escorting Liam, but let's be real. Liam feels the crosshairs on his back. To understand why this mission feels like a death sentence, we gotta rewind. Back to when Liam realized the heavy price of his bloodline. At the steel selection ritual, the highest tier weapon chose him. He was supposed to be the chosen one. A golden future, right? Wrong. The doctors dropped a bomb on him. 0 magical aptitude. His body was a broken vessel. No matter how hard he trained, he couldn't hold mana. They said hitting rank 9 would be a literal miracle. He was basically certified trash. His dad looked at him with pure disgust. The clan wrote off the weapon selection as a system glitch. But Liam didn't quit. He embraced the grind. By 25, he forced his way to rank 7. Respectable, sure. But for the elite Lee family, it was an embarrassment. At 30, they tossed him out. If his big brother hadn't stepped in, they would have executed him right there, just to keep the family name clean. So Liam spent the next 10 years looking over his shoulder. Meanwhile, the world went to hell. Uncharted zones expanded, monsters invaded, total apocalypse mode. Then the news hits. His father died. Hours later, the Shadow Sword Squad corners Liam. They hand him a decree. Come investigate Zone B. It's a summons he can't ignore. But it's sketchy. The order came from Guslie, the third son. What happened to the 2 older heirs? Liam tries to press them for info, but the squad treats him like invisible furniture. When he points out he hasn't touched a blade in a decade, they give him a choice: comply or die. Which brings us back to the present. The squad pushes deeper into the wasteland until they spot it. A pristine abandoned structure standing in the middle of nowhere, suspiciously intact. The Shadow Squad doesn't hesitate. They kick the doors open and walk straight into a nightmare. Floor-to-ceiling human skulls. And in the center, the carcass of a massive ancient beast. Normal people would run. The Shadow Leader. He smiles. Found it. Then he gives the signal. The squad draws their blades and the massacre begins. They start slaughtering the porters and hired hands. Total chaos. Liam barely manages to grab his hilt before the leader is on him. You didn't figure it out. You're all walking corpses. Be honored. You're fuel for the clan's glory. But Liam isn't going down without a fight. He drives his sword right through the leader's chest. Who sent you? The assassin laughs, admitting it's a direct order from the top. A clean sweep. No witnesses. Then the guy shatters Liam's blade with his bare hands. And the hole in his chest, it knits itself back together. Instant regeneration. That's not martial arts. That's sorcery. The rest of the team tries to jump in, but they're just fodder. The leader turns his attention back to Liam and starts beating him to a pulp. I expected more from a Lee. You're just a pathetic disappointment. Blood in his eyes, Liam refuses to fade. He didn't survive exile just to die in a hole. He scrambles, desperate for a weapon. He spots an old sword stuck in the ground. That's his chance. He rips it out and it disintegrates into rust and dust. The universe really hates this guy. The leader delivers the final slash. Liam hits the floor, vision fading, accepting that this is the bitter end. Dying like livestock after a lifetime of straight misery. At that point, all he craved was a do-over. But instead of the pearly gates, everything fades to black until a voice cuts through the void. His dad's voice. Tyson. Which is crazy, because that man is dead and buried. But Liam snaps his eyes open and sees him looking unnervingly youthful. Totally confused, our protagonist tries to throw hands or speak, only to realize he's waving around chubby baby paws. He hasn't just woken up. He's been rebooted right back to his birth. Naturally, Liam assumes he's in some weird afterlife lobby. But then his dad commands the butler to assign a maid and guards to watch him, treating him like legitimate nobility. But here's the kicker. Dad orders him to attend the selection ritual, alongside the 8th daughter. Doesn't matter if he's fresh out of the womb in this family, talent isn't learned, it's destiny. Tyson exits, and Liam physically feels the room depressurize, without his father's suffocating aura crushing the air. This feels way too visceral to be just a flashback. It's not purgatory either, because every detail is playing out exactly like the first run. He really did time travel. Fast forward a few months, and the hype builds for the clan's biggest holiday, the steel selection ritual. This is where the weapons choose the wielder, deciding their fate, and locking in their potential for life. It's basically the Sorting Hat, but with lethal steel. For context, his dad got picked by dozens of blades and became the generation's sword saint. His big brother triggered swords, tomes, and a scepter, becoming a versatile battle mage unit. Now it's Liam's turn to rewrite the script. Enter Gabriella, his maid, getting him dripped out and looking sharp, swearing he's destined for greatness. Seeing her hits Liam right in the feels. She was his real mother figure, even though in the first timeline she got kicked to the curb, because the other siblings hated his guts. At the end of the day, she was the only soul who gave a damn about him. He hugs her tight, silently swearing, this timeline will be different. He's going to protect her no matter the cost. The announcement drops, prep time is over. They roll out with dozens of other babies, led by the patriarch himself, arriving at a massive coliseum, packed with thousands of spectators eyeing the fresh meat, curious about the family's future prospects. But one gaze cuts deeper, Veronica, the clan matriarch. She knows our boy is the illegitimate child brought in from the outside. Also present is Tenji, the minister, Manuel, the firstborn and only decent brother from the past, and Gus, the third son, who eventually takes the throne. All eyes land on the protagonist, noting he's probably the youngest player ever to hit the arena. While Manuel looks genuinely intrigued, Gus is already hating, wondering where this brat spawned from with zero chill. The patriarch kicks off, the show summoning the eighth child, daughter, little Gina. They prick her finger, and it's not just blood that spills, but raw mana surging out, getting magnetized to the prestigious ivory sword, a masterpiece that hasn't vibed with anyone in generations. The patriarch summons it to his hand, declaring the ivory sword has chosen Gina. The elders immediately start glazing the matriarch for birthing another prodigy. But that smile vanishes instantly when they call the protagonist's name. The mood shifts. The crowd throws shade, disbelief washing over them that a bastard is allowed in such a sacred ritual. They repeat the bloodletting on Liam. Here's where it gets spicy. He holds back the tears, and his dad gives him a nod of approval. Liam thinks it's showtime. In the past, he was chosen by Echo, a celestial rank sword. He's expecting a repeat performance, a solid start, to secure his position. Amidst the murmurs, Tenji, the patriarch's brother, notices the matriarch is fuming. He gets it, nobody wants to look at the evidence of an affair, but he can't help pitying the grim fate awaiting this kid inside this snake pit. Just surviving as an illegitimate son is a challenge on hard mode. The head elder barely glances at the baby, and Tenji spots the first major roadblock. That old purist is closed-minded and won't let an outsider shine among the lees. The guy doesn't hide his disgust, insisting a bastard from nowhere has no business at the selection. In fact, he doubles down on the hate. He throws shade, saying, Tenji should get it. Game recognizes game, and they're both illegitimate trash. Not a single weapon vibed with him. Trash stays trash. You can literally see a vein popping in Tenji's forehead. The old geezer keeps yapping about teaching the baby a lesson, and Tenji looks ready to snap. Tenji finally loses it, screaming at him to shut his trap, but he gets totally ghosted. The old man is staring at something else entirely. Turns out while they were busy measuring egos, the MC's ritual kicked off with a massive mana explosion. The energy surge is so OP that nobody in the academy can even comprehend what they're looking at. The blinding light finally dies down, revealing the impossible. Liam didn't get picked by one relic. He got picked by the whole squad. The Blood Soul Spear, the Molten Iron Sword, the Maju Blade, the Dragon Crossbow, they're all floating there. And it doesn't stop. Even weapons that already have owners are trying to jump ship to get to him. That includes the First Son's blade. But instead of being salty, the big bro is actually hyped to see his siblings' talent. Gus, on the other hand, total shock. The crowd starts whispering, losing their minds. A bastard shouldn't be pulling this off. The patriarch has seen enough, and roars silence. The room goes dead quiet. He drops the bomb. According to clan law, every weapon that chose Liam is now his property. But leaving half the clan weaponless is a bad look, so he opens the floor for suggestions on how to fix this mess. Tenji jumps in, arguing that hoarding the entire armory kinda defeats the whole point of the ritual. He suggests letting the kid pick his favorite, which sounds ridiculous, asking a baby who can't even walk to make a tactical decision. The patriarch agrees. He uses his telekinesis to pull the weapons into a circle around the MC. It's time for a blind pick. Liam has no clue why the timeline changed, but he's not complaining. This is totally different from his past life, and he is absolutely ready to exploit this glitch in the Matrix. He puts that reincarnated brain to use, crawling around and inspecting the stats on every single weapon. Some are basic trash, but others are legendary tier items used by ancient heroes. He ignores them all for the one he really wants. As he crawls toward it, the patriarch's eyes go wide. He realizes the kid is heading straight for the founder's sword, a plain, dusty blade that looks like nothing but hides secrets nobody alive even understands. The Black Twilight Flame Sword. We're talking heaven-tier artifact status just because of its backstory. The kicker, no one has been worthy of it since the founder himself. It makes the patriarch question everything. Is this just a baby grabbing a shiny object? Or are the ancestors literally speaking from the grave? Doesn't matter now. The choice is locked in. He scoops up the kid. He declares the Black Twilight has a new master. The crowd erupts in cheers. Well, everyone except one person. The matriarch. She's staring daggers, realizing this little bastard is becoming a massive threat to her plans. If he gets in her way, she'll delete him. Cut to black. We jump 9 years forward to see the MC waving goodbye to Gabriella. He's off to his daily grind. In this timeline, Liam is already known as the family genius. But Gabriella still treats him like a baby. She tags along asking why he insists on Zone 1 when the VIP gyms are empty. Zone 1 is basically the janitor's closet of training grounds. It makes zero sense. Liam just smirks, saying someone is waiting for him. Before he can drop a name, screams interrupt them. It's coming from Zone 7. Gina is getting absolutely roasted by her instructor, but she doesn't cry. She claps back with pure rage, at least for a second. Liam refuses to acknowledge her as his big sister, while she throws a tantrum, slamming her sword into the dirt. She screams at the guy to stop giving her useless advice that doesn't boost her DPS. He tries to explain that in a real deathmatch details save your life. He tries to encourage her. It goes in one ear and out the other. Liam asks Gabriella who the poor guy dealing with her is. It's Commander Bike. The MC shakes his head. Bike is way too elite to be wasting his prime babysitting a brat. Gabriella misreads the situation completely. She apologizes, thinking Liam is sad he doesn't have a pro teacher. She feels guilty she can't give him the gourmet food or the resources the other kids get. Liam shuts that down immediately. He tells her she's doing great. Besides, he implies he's already got a secret mentor. With that, they hit Zone 1. Technically, it's for the direct bloodline, but right now it looks more like a junkyard than a dojo. Usually, this place is just a glorified storage closet. Yet Liam is obsessed with sneaking in here every single chance he gets. Why? Because this is the only spot where the clan dumps its antique weaponry. We're not talking about god-tier loot here, or the shiny masterpiece the protagonist grabbed during the ritual. No, these blades are literal rust buckets crumbling into dust, and he digs through this scrap heap to pick his weapon for the day's training. It looks absolutely ridiculous, especially since he's already packing a high-level blade in his inventory. But grab one of these junkers and things get weird. A pitch-black aura erupts, coiling around his body like a snake. It triggers his ace in the hole, his secret ability. He can download memories straight from the steel. Suddenly, he's not in a warehouse. He's living through the battles of the blade's original owner, soaking up every lesson and combat style the previous wielder mastered. Here's the kicker: the older the weapon, or the deeper the bond the warrior had with it, the clearer the playback. He's not just swinging a sword, he's absorbing decades of combat experience in mere seconds. Just like that, he nails the first form of the 7 Stars sword, a lethal technique he's been grinding toward ever since he unlocked this memory-reading hack 2 years ago. But he's not alone. A voice cuts through the silence, hyping him up for pulling off a move that complex, while being just a kid. Enter Tenji, not just a government minister, but a 4th-rank martial arts beast and a respected general of the Li clan. The guy is a legend for climbing the ranks, despite the stigma of being an illegitimate child. He's also one of the few people who actually gives a damn about Liam, beaming with pride to see the boy training this hard even while his brothers treat him like dirt. Liam shuts down the pity party instantly. He quotes the clan's savage motto, "Prove your worth with the sword." That's exactly the plan. He's going to force the world to acknowledge he belongs at the top. Tenji still thinks it's a tragedy that talent like this is branded illegitimate, but he shakes it off and pivots, mentioning the naming ceremony is coming up. He offers to become Liam's personal mentor right now, but Liam, he hits him with a hard no. He reminds Tenji that official training starts after the ceremony. Sure, his brothers are blatantly cheating with private tutors, but Liam isn't playing that game. This is his way of flexing he's going to win by the book to prove what he's really made of. Tenji stares at him baffled. That is not something a 9-year-old kid says. It feels like he's arguing with a grown man or a stubborn older brother. He realizes there's no changing Liam's mind. Defeated Tenji just asks if there's anything he can do to support him. Bingo. Liam was waiting for that specific line. Actually, there is one thing. He wants access to the sub-levels of the secret warehouse. Tenji doesn't even hesitate. Cut to the clan's private vault. Security here is tight. Guards demand ID before you can even breathe in their direction. Tenji flashes his credentials, claiming he's here for a routine inspection, and giving the clan's rookie a little VIP tour. The guards buy it and step aside. Liam puts on his best amazed kid face. Even though he's technically been here 1,000 times in his past life, it still hits different seeing the Li family's hoard. Of course, he keeps his inner monologue quiet, because he's on a mission for one specific item. This place is legendary for a reason. We're talking mythic weapons, forbidden scrolls, and artifacts so rare most people think they're fairy tales. If it exists, it's here. Answering the kid's request, Tenji finally addresses the elephant in the room, the basement. That's where they lock away the cursed stuff. monster-grade weapons that literally eat their wielders' souls. Tenji tries to spook him with some campfire ghost stories, playing the fun uncle role perfectly. Little does he know, Liam's mentally a senior citizen. He fakes a shiver just to sell the act. Ooh, scary. Tenji drops the hammer. Basement is off limits, even for us. Then he wanders off, leaving the kid to browse the safe aisles. As soon as the elevator doors close, Liam drops the act. He lets out a heavy sigh. Playing the innocent brat is exhausting. He completely ignores the warning and smashes the button for the basement. Welcome to the weapon graveyard. Rows of sealed relics scream danger from the shadows, including the very thing he came for, Boundless. Right now, it just looks like an unassuming dagger. But if you pump enough mana into it, it transforms into anything you want. In the previous timeline, Gus found it first. He earned the title, the Ever-Combatant, because that weapon made him unpredictable on the battlefield. That shape-shifting cheat code is exactly how Gus stole the Patriarch's seat, snatching the birthright from the firstborn. And ironically, his first order as boss was to hunt Liam down. Betrayal. Murder. That's the only hand he's been dealt so far. But this timeline, totally different vibe. He's got to rewrite his death warrant. Mission number 1, stop Gus from snagging that weapon and stealing the Patriarch throne. Here's the snag. Limitless is a shapeshifter. He can't just look for it. He has to manually inspect every single weapon in the pile. He grinds for a solid hour, coming up with 0 loot until bam. He trips over this nasty, rusted-out dagger. The second he grabs it, his powers glitch out. They hijack his body, dragging him into the dagger's memories against his will. But this isn't some cozy flashback. It's way darker. He's not watching a movie. He's dropped straight into a graveyard of fresh bodies. This hits different than before. It's not a memory. It feels like reality. Like he's physically there right now. Goosebumps explode all over his skin as he senses it. An aura so crushing even Mother Nature would flinch. A beast that eats entire civilizations for breakfast. A straight-up apocalypse-tier monster. Liam's legs turn to jelly instantly. There is 0 chance he clutches a win here. His brain screams run, but his body is frozen. Seconds tick by, until a warrior's spirit materializes behind him, lunging at the beast and deleting it with a single devastating strike. Liam's brain can't even process that level of OP. Impossible. But before he can react, the warrior turns, locks eyes with him, and asks for his ID. Then he drops a bomb. What he's about to do is an act of mercy. Liam's confused, right until the guy pounces, slicing him clean in half. Snap. He's yanked back to reality like nothing happened. But it definitely happened. The paralyzing terror is still coursing through his veins, making him doubt it was just a hallucination. Then the weirdest part, the rust on the dagger vanishes into thin air, revealing the true form of Limitless. Liam doesn't hesitate. He offers his blood to bind the weapon as his own. Instant upgrade. The dagger morphs into a sword in seconds. He starts swinging it, feeling the kind of power that's going to let him rewrite his fate permanently. Cut to 1 week later, our boy is training with Limitless at his crib. He reveals how he smuggled the weapon out of the warehouse and kept it on the down low. He cloaked it as a simple ring on his index finger. Pretty slick, nobody's clocked it yet. But getting caught isn't his main stress. It's the fact that he still can't execute the Infernal Slash. That mysterious ult the warrior used to delete the monster. The guy practically gave him a tutorial, knowing full well a newbie like Liam couldn't handle it. And yeah, the ghost was right. He's been grinding that move until total exhaustion with 0 results. But Liam, he's chill about it. No rush. Before the time travel, he was just a useless bastard who couldn't inherit the family techniques. He's still a bastard, sure, but now the potential is literally infinite. Suddenly, it clicks. He's been trying to copy the warrior's form exactly like he's got a grown man's body, but he's stuck in a kid's frame. He needs to adapt the mechanics, make the flow natural, for his current size. With that light bulb moment, he gets back to the grind, and nails the physical motion. Now he just needs to infuse the mana exactly how the warrior did. That's the hard part. He remembers the vibe perfectly, but feels like a puzzle piece is missing. Nothing a little XP grinding won't fix. He keeps swinging. Until whoosh, a woman catches his blade with her bare hands. She stares him down. Where'd you learn that? Liam spots the signature features of the direct Lee bloodline immediately. He asks for her name. She's shocked. He doesn't recognize her, then remembers he's barely around. She introduces herself, Genesis, his youngest aunt. Weirdly, Liam never saw her in his first life. He only remembers Tenji saying, Grandpa hated her for being different. But right now, she's being super nice. Too nice. Her face gets dark though. When she drills him again about the skill, she insists that's a signature move. Of ancient martial arts, a lost branch she's obsessed with and currently researching. She tosses him a notebook. Inside, among the scribbles, Liam spots an ancient mana handling technique. That's the missing key to his ultimate move. He realizes the notes are crazy complex, meaning his aunt isn't crazy, she's a genius. He even starts explaining how modern martial arts work. So the current meta is all about mana circles hoarding energy in the heart. But the OG techniques, they used mana paths to flow that power through the entire body. Genesis drops a hot take. She thinks the ancient ways are superior, but literally 0 people agree with her. That's exactly why the manual is basically blank. With her coaching, Liam locks in, focusing on pushing that heart mana out to his limbs. It's a grind, but he finally nails it. Then he tries to replicate the warrior technique, and boom, it works. This makes him happy, but Genesis absolutely loses her mind. She starts grilling him, demanding to know how the hell he pulled that off. The MC plays it cool and refuses, but she's so desperate she literally begs him. She's wasted over 10 years on this theory, and even got kicked out of the clan for it. Yet she never got it to work in practice. Liam sees how pathetic she looks and throws her a bone, making her swear to 3 conditions. Number 1, total silence. She can't tell a soul, not even his dad or uncle. Number 2, 100% transparency between them from now on. And number 3, well, that's a mystery for later. Flash forward 1 year. Our boy has been on the daily grind, training non-stop with his aunt, until a summons drops. It's an order to show up for the naming ceremony. Weird flex, though it wasn't sent by his dad but by the substitute patriarch. Liam wonders where his old man vanished to, since the rumor mill has been dead silent on his new mission. Meanwhile, Genesis is salty about this. She was finally cracking the code on the technique, and now she needs her lab partner to stay and grind. Turns out they've been deep diving into mana mechanics this whole time, finding cheat codes to tell the difference between ancient and modern styles. Even better, they cooked up a hybrid class that combines both. For the first time, Genesis isn't just hypothesizing, she's seeing real progress. It feels like a dream. Liam leveled up huge from this, maximizing his mana efficiency, but he can't ghost the ceremony. He promises he'll be back to finish the research. Cut to the pre-ceremony prep. Liam and Gina get tossed into a literal torture chamber, where they have to tank magic attacks for 30 full minutes. The session is run by the leader of the Blood Tiger squad, who's watching them like a hawk, betting that the MC is going to fold since he didn't have a fancy master to train him. But joke's on him. Not only is Liam surviving, he's using this pain as a benchmark to measure his skills against Gina and prove himself. By the end, the instructor has to eat his words. That level of raw talent commands respect. He decides right there to teach the kid everything he can. Forget the bloodline bias. Talent gets the VIP treatment. Walking out, the MC looks unbothered, thinking this family is psycho for putting kids in an electric cage to buff their resistance. But the real shocker was the instructor apologizing for doubting him. The training is paying off. He's ready to crash. But Gina ambushes him from behind, insisting they need to talk. Liam gives her a hard pass, so she throws a massive tantrum demanding respect because she's older and he's just illegitimate trash. The MC knows he could drop her, but she's not worth the energy, so he tries to bounce. That triggers her. She fires a mana blast, but he grabs her neck and cancels the attack like it's nothing, telling her he doesn't have time for her drama. He tries to leave again, and that's when Gina breaks. She spills her guts. She's constantly compared to him, trains all day, no play, no fun, and can't even sleep because of her mom's pressure. For a second, it looks like Liam might care, but he flips the script. He tells her to stop blaming everyone else for her misery. If she hates him that much, get good and get over it. It sounds harsh, but it lights a fire under her to crush him, swearing she'll outperform him at the naming ceremony. The MC just smirks and says he'll be waiting for the show. Later, in the 7th training session, Gina is going absolute beast mode, until the matriarch storms in screaming, "What the hell are you doing after getting humiliated by a bastard?" But the witch isn't done. She doubles down, saying she's disappointed, claiming Gina is only training this hard to avoid the scolding she actually deserves. Luckily, Gina snaps back instantly. She's not training for anyone else. She's grinding because she wants to lock in on one goal, crushing Liam. It's not about following orders. It's about her own ambition. But the patriarch isn't having it. He scoffs at her drive. Why is she letting some bastard live rent-free in her head? She's the legitimate heir, born superior by blood. There's no competition. All she has to do is remind the world of the natural pecking order. Then comes the dark twist. He slides a vial of poison into her hand with a chilling ultimatum. If you can't outclass him, you eliminate him. Just your average toxicity in this family. Cutting back to our main character, Liam is showing off his training report card to Gabriella. And looking at the stats, the kid is absolutely cracked. First place in weaponry, mana control, and the written exams. Gabriella is beaming with pride. She's amazed he swept the board without any proper support. Liam, being the wholesome king he is, tries to tell her that having her in his corner was more than enough. But before he can finish, Aunt Genesis crashes, the scene hyper-excited that her favorite nephew is finally back. And her idea of rest and recovery, more grinding, obviously. But let's be real, she's got a one-track mind. She wants that ancient arts data. Liam indulges her, dropping the bombshell that he's already unlocked his first star. Here's a quick lore breakdown. Usually mana warriors have to grind through 3 stages. First, pure body reinforcement. Second, changing the nature of their mana. And third, finally manifesting those flashy supernatural abilities. But Genesis's ancient arts completely break the meta. With her style, those abilities can manifest right from the get-go. That's why they use the star ranking system. Genesis is practically vibrating with excitement. While she celebrates, Liam drops the truth. He leveled up during that hellish survival training where he barely escaped with his life. He used that extreme pressure to force mana through his entire system. Hearing this explanation fires Genesis up to push her own limits even further. She thanks him with one of her signature spine-crushing bear hugs, insisting they need to ride this momentum immediately to unlock the second star. She asks about his specialty, and Liam confidently claims it's swordsmanship. But she's calling Cap. She hasn't even seen him spar yet. She can sense his true potential isn't in the blade. It's in his mana control. Liam thinks she's overhyping him, but Genesis shuts that down, reminding him that if it weren't for him, she never would have cracked the code on the ancient arts she studied for years. She insists that if he hits the second star, in the next few days, the naming ceremony will be a total cakewalk. Ultimately, all this yapping is just high-octane fuel for their grind. But before they start, Liam notices a sketchy box sitting next to her. Her answer, she flicks a metal marble at his face with the velocity of a sniper round. Turns out these lethal little projectiles are the new tools to force his mana control to adapt while he's in motion. Fast forward to the next day. The squad is back at it, but this time a new instructor steps up to teach them the family's secret techniques. He barks at them to grab a weapon of choice and move out double time. You could cut the tension with a knife. Gina is visibly rattled, but she completely freezes. When Liam walks out strapped with a sword, a spear, and a saber, the instructor stares at him, wondering if the kid is trolling, or just plain stupid. He shakes it off, clarifying he's not here to spoon-feed them specific weapon skills. He's here to drill the fundamentals and awaken that sixth sense every elite martial artist needs in their kit. Less talk, more hands. He goes full aggro, launching an assault that Liam barely manages to block. Even in his past life, he never faced a grind this brutal. But he tells himself this is exactly why. He has to lock in. This timeline will be different. Amidst the beatdown, Gina doesn't hesitate to jump into the fray, but she gets absolutely folded too. Cue the training montage. A full month passes and the instructor only dials up the violence, literally fracturing bones and causing internal bleeding. Definitely not the kind of P.E. class you'd sign a 10-year-old up for. Yet our MC isn't whining. He actually feels like he's starting to crack the code. Just then, Gina wakes up from one of her daily KO naps during the session. Despite the beatdowns, the instructor actually rates her durability. She's a tank. Unlike Liam, she hasn't suffered a single critical injury. And speaking of Liam, the instructor admits he initially pegged the kid as a total moron. Now he sees the X factor. Bringing the entire armory wasn't a joke. The kid is actually proficient with every single one of them. Even for a month-long grind, they're ahead of schedule. And here's where the plot thickens. Later that day, Liam proposes a truce, asking Gina to help him wall off the instructor. He figures a co-op combo might actually land a clean hit. She hesitates at first, but the thought of serving their tormentor a slice of humble pie is too sweet to pass up. She's in. But reality hits hard. They realize their current power levels aren't even enough to tickle this guy. The only way to level the playing field here is to team up. Obviously, that catches the instructor off guard, who nods approval and starts parrying their strikes, completely oblivious that he's walking right into the protagonist's trap. Boom! Liam signals Gina to blitz him. Using her assault as a smokescreen, he decides to unleash the mysterious warrior's ultimate technique. That actually rattles the instructor. Liam can feel it in his gut. This is gonna land. Until it doesn't. The guy stops the blow cold with one hand and tosses Liam to the dirt like a cheap rag doll. The twist. After delivering that absolute beatdown, he actually congratulates them on awakening their sixth sense, clarifying that they've still got a long road ahead, but that wraps up training for the day. Not that anyone is listening. Because Gina immediately blows up at our MC, roasting him because his master plan flopped. Meanwhile, the instructor is way more focused on staring at his bruised palm, realizing he had to break his own golden rule, using mana just to block that strike. And even then, he couldn't fully tank it. He barely knows the kid, but he's certain Liam is going to be a titan within the clan in the future. That ends this round of torture. The MC grabs some rest until night falls, and he gets a visit from the first son, Manuel. We're talking a second-rank martial artist and a third-rank mage here, which makes him one of the heavy hitters in the entire clan. Liam remembers that in his past life, this guy was both feared and worshipped. But to him, just his big bro. The only one who ever had his back, no strings attached. Back in the present, it's their first face-to-face. Manuel apologizes for the radio silence, insisting he was just swamped with work. He makes it clear Liam is his brother, period. He couldn't care less about that illegitimate child label. He wants Liam to rely on him, so he hands over a gift, nectar. We're talking top-tier miracle medicine, the kind where only a tiny batch is brewed every year. Liam thanks him, and Manuel notices something different about this kid compared to the other siblings. Liam is the only one who doesn't look at him like a boss fight waiting to happen, but Liam shuts that down immediately. Oh, he definitely sees him as a rival. In fact, he plans to become his biggest competition. The difference is, there's no bad blood here, and the MC swears to himself that in this life, he's the one who's going to protect Manuel. A couple of days later, it's time for training round 3, or rather the third trial of the naming ceremony. The squad gets shipped off to the Red and Blue Island, a trippy place where the ground changes color based on the mana levels in the air. Plus, this spot has hosted the ceremony since ancient times. But there's a catch before the party starts: they have to survive for 3 whole weeks. And even though Big Brother is watching, they gotta navigate this hellscape solo. And only after that grind does the trial chamber open to officially kick off the ceremony. With the rules set, they get dropped on the island. Gina immediately starts acting sketchy, insisting she has something major to tell him. The MC cuts her off. He already knows. She's been acting weird for a while. So Gina decides to show, not tell, grabbing her tracker and making a gesture like, take it off and stash it. Of course, our boy is confused as hell, but he plays along. That's when she flashes the poison her mom gave her, explaining it only works on kids under 15. It's not a killer, but it glitches out the victim's mana flow completely. She doesn't mention that nobody was watching, but she smashes that vial against a rock anyway, assuring him none of that shady stuff matters, because she plans to crush him fair and square. She tells him to take this test seriously because she's not holding back. Liam is a bit shook by the confession at first, but he assures her he always planned to go full throttle. With that drama out of the way, she gives him one last tip: move into the island's interior gradually. Our MC fires back, telling her she should worry about her own skin. Suddenly, some creepy noises interrupt their moment, which is the universal cue to split up. Liam thinks it's kinda sweet she's worried about him, but his goal isn't just to survive. He's beelining straight for the center of the island. Meanwhile, the higher-ups are grading the kid's performance, noting that Gina is on a rampage, exclusively hunting down monsters, and maintaining an insane pace for a total rookie. The second master admits she's not doing half bad, but quietly, all their money is on the protagonist, whose growth has been way more aggressive. As for his strategy, they see him scouting for a base and assume he's hiding like a rat. Exactly what they'd expect from a bastard child. Luckily, Manuel and Tenji are in the room, arguing that tactical avoidance is a perfectly normal play, but that cursed old geezer insists that being normal isn't gonna cut it. Inside the Lee clan, perfection isn't just a goal, it is a requirement, and Manuel maintains a stoic silence amidst the pressure. But internally, he thinks the clan has hit rock bottom. Bullying a child is pathetic, and he has zero regrets about stepping in to defend the kid. He and Tenji are glued to the feed, totally baffled. What on earth is that runt hunting for in the absolute center of the danger zone? Suddenly, they catch the protagonist locating a hidden cave. He starts masking the entrance with foliage, going full stealth mode to block out local predators. Then comes the twist. Liam rips off his tracker, grabs the camera, and crushes them. Static. Total blackout. Now nobody knows his next move. Liam's logic is simple. He isn't about to let the audience see his true limits. He triggers an artifact, shifting a ring instantly into a dagger. With the cameras down, he is free to unleash everything he is capable of. Capable of indeed. But first, he has to chug a vile homemade mana herbal concoction. He brewed this sludge using random ingredients he scavenged following Genesis's advice to tap into the island's raw magic. Obviously, she meant he should do some light meditation or yoga. She definitely did not mean downing a jar of liquid toxic enough to drain the color from his face. It is the absolute worst way to kick off a 3-week survival grind. Fast forward 18 days. While the boys are leveling up, Manuel is dealing with a nightmare. Intel reports a fresh squad of bandits. They have breached the northern sectors of South Korea. But instead of heading for the wilds as expected, they are making a beeline for the Lee clan's Monostone mines. This behavior is way off script. Usually, bandits stick to the shadows. Moving this boldly means they have a strategy, or a distraction. Manuel's ally suggests this raid might just be a smokescreen for something far more dangerous. Rumor has it the Nine Dragons Fortress is mobilizing troops toward the northern border. We are talking about a powerhouse organization that rivals the Lee clan sitting right on their doorstep. The path leads straight to the unexplored region, and these guys never miss a chance to poke the bear. The situation is critical because the patriarch is MIA, leaving Manuel holding the keys to the kingdom. He immediately orders intelligence to red alert status. He wants eyes on everything, and Manuel, he can't shake this bad feeling in his gut, and he is right to be worried. Cut to the forest, a magic circle ignites. A portal opens and a mysterious assassin steps out. He figures 2 days is plenty of time to delete an illegitimate son. Bottom line, someone put a hit out on the protagonist. By the time dawn breaks, Liam is already face-to-face with a rank 7 dragon. In his past life, this beast would have been a raid boss. But in this timeline, he drops it with a single infernal cut. Still, these monsters are no joke. Liam admits he only pulled that off because of his island training. Getting to this territory drained him. He needs to keep moving before he burns out. But he isn't leaving yet. He has a mission to investigate the glitchy behavior of the lizardmen, a rank 8 monster class. These things usually camp on the outskirts, but for some reason, they are migrating inland. Since last night, they have been acting chaotic, attacking random creatures on sight. Yet they move with military precision, which makes zero sense for low-intelligence beasts. Liam's theory: someone or something is pulling the strings. Only one way to find out. He engages stealth mode and sneaks right up to them. Surprisingly, they ignore him completely, until a crow caws overhead. That is the signal. Liam takes out a few stragglers, but intentionally leaves a trail for the rest to follow. Across the island, a dark voice whispers from the shadows, murmuring about martial confrontation and prey. We cut back to the assassin from before. Even he admits the Lee bloodline is impressive. It is the only explanation for how a kid this young could survive a gauntlet of beasts. A lizard man approaches him, confirming he is the puppet master. But the guy relaxes, convinced Liam is just a naive kid who will walk right into his trap. Meet Nishiyama. He is a tamer-type mage, meaning he treats monsters like personal pets. Powerful, sure. Perceptive, not so much. Because Liam is standing right behind him. Liam connects the dots. Only people with Lee clan clearance can access the island's teleportation grid. This is an inside job. His own family set him up, and now he has to decide how to handle the betrayal. Liam faces a split-second decision: dial in the cavalry or throw hands right here, right now. Playing it safe sounds tempting, sure, but hesitation spells game over. Plus, bringing in a crowd means the puppet master vanishes into the shadows forever. So the choice is a no-brainer. Liam cloaks his presence with Genesis spells and launches himself into the air, dead set on taking this guy out solo. But just as he's winding up for the kill shot, ready to unleash a hellish/things go sideways, that weird stone Nishiyama was clutching, it cracks open. Surprise, it's a high-level spirit bird. The creature screeches a warning instantly. And folks, this wasn't just bad luck. It's a legendary danger detection artifact. That split-second warning gives the villain just enough time to dodge the fatal blow. Stealth mode is officially useless, so Liam steps into the light. Meanwhile, that scumbag admits, Liam's stronger than he looks. Without missing a beat, he sicks his squad of lizardmen on our boy. Liam doesn't flinch. He unleashes the 7 stars, sword third form, true azure. It's a blur of steel and light, wiping out the entire monster mob in mere seconds. Clearing a path to the main boss. He rushes forward but suddenly hits a wall, literally. He's snagged by a trap made of a substance that locks down mana, circles tight. Nishiyama starts cackling, mocking Liam for being nothing but a helpless kid, unable to fight or even twitch, or so he thinks. Jokes on him, because Liam's ancient arts, they don't give a damn about mana circles. Liam cycles energy through his physical body, shatters the invisible chains and lunges forward, closing the gap instantly. With a savage smirk, Liam levels his blade and asks if the guy is actually ready to throw down. For real this time. The villain is shook, completely unable to process how Liam broke free. Finally, his brain reboots. He has to kill Liam to save his own skin. That last part totally throws Liam for a loop. But before he can even decode that logic, he gets absolutely trucked by a massive attack, sending him ragdolling into a tree on the far side of the forest. Dazed Liam looks up to see the real threat stomping closer, the Turtlehead Mountain, the literal guardian of the island. It's painfully obvious Nishiyama has brainwashed this titan too. Major problem, we're talking about a rank 3 monster here. Even though Nishiyama admits he doesn't have full control yet, it's enough to command a kill order. He tells Liam to just take the L and die. And honestly, it looks unwinnable. Something Liam actually considers for a hot second, until he spots the loophole if the mind control isn't perfect. He just needs to take out the summoner, Nishiyama. But he can't leave this to RNG, so he makes a risky call, popping a forbidden pill he brewed for emergencies. It's a hardcore mana booster, with about 1,000 nasty side effects, but it's his only shot at a W. He summons Boundless and preps that break glass in case of fire technique. His uncle taught him. He releases an insane amount of energy, launching himself sky high, and strikes the turtle with everything he's got. But 0 damage, not even a scratch. The beast responds with a soul-shattering roar that echoes across the island, blasting out mana waves so intense they paralyze every living thing nearby. Liam is frozen stiff. He thinks he's totally cooked. But then the dark energy from his secret ability flares up, fighting back the paralysis and wrapping around him like armor until he can move again. Back in the game, Liam charges in and lands a brutal infernal cut. This time it actually hurts the beast, but there's a catch. His own body is crashing from the booster meds. He coughs up a mouthful of blood, a grim reminder that he has seconds before he burns out completely. The good news, the monster is stunned too. He has exactly 10 seconds to locate Nishiyama and end this. Fueled by desperation, Liam sprints blindly through the chaos until he spots a glowing red thread leading straight to the target. The enemy looks absolutely stunned to be found. By the time he turns around, it's game over. In that final second, Liam's blade is already at his throat. But wait, Liam realizes his reach is too short. He's going to miss. That's when Boundless kicks in, extending the blade to pierce right through him. The villain's body hits the dirt, followed immediately by our hero, who's so drained he barely manages to chug a healing potion before blacking out cold. Fade to black. Unknown time skip. When Liam finally peels his eyes open, he's not on the island anymore. He's floating in some creepy white void, completely alone except for that dark energy swirling around him. Confused, he tries to stand up, but his legs aren't working. It feels like his avatar is literally glitching out of existence. And then, out of nowhere, a giant blue eye stares back. The entity stares daggers at him before dropping a heavy line. So, it comes to this. The creature points out that the energy swirling around is way too toxic for a human to handle. Yet our boy downed it without even flinching. They didn't expect him to wake up from that cocktail, but he's built different. Out of nowhere, the command drops, feed him. A shadow slides a glowing violet gem forward the Stone of Clarity. Liam clocks it immediately, but the eye flips the script. He clarifies that Liam isn't meant to eat the stone. The stone is going to consume him. It's a warning. A dark era is approaching, and he needs to level up now, or time itself is going to chew him up. If you're wondering what that cryptic riddle meant, honestly, zero clue. But snap back to reality. Liam wakes up to Gina's face, hovering over him asking if he's alive. He ignores the pain to check his core, realizing his mana is skyrocketing. Liam can't tell if the stone trial was real or just a fever dream, but the damage is definitely real. Gina reads off the injury list: twisted guts, fractured bones, torn muscles. Basically, he is absolutely wrecked. But he's breathing. What actually eats at him isn't the pain, but the failed heist. He feels guilty he couldn't secure the stone, thinking he might have robbed Gina of her shot at it. But that pity party gets cut short when Manuel bursts onto the scene looking absolutely panicked. He forces some potions down Liam's throat and tells Gina to give them a minute. Manuel got Liam's warning, all right. He swears if Liam had died, he would have chased Nichiyama into the depths of hell for payback. As a martial artist, Liam's a beast. As a brother, a reckless idiot. Liam admits he's right. But hey, who expects a giant turtle to crash the party? If he'd known that was coming, he would have bolted. But here's the tea, Liam clapped Nichiyama, so he wants the intel. He demands to know everything about that guy. Manuel spills it. The dude was a rank 6 sorcerer, kicked out of every organization in the book for dabbling in forbidden dark arts. The plan was simple: flatline Liam and frame the monster for the kill. Obviously, Liam wants to know who signed the check. He deduces he wasn't the main target, Manuel was. It's a setup to destroy Manuel's reputation. Look, he can detect invasions but can't even save his own brother. They banked on Liam being a nobody that no one would miss. Too bad he refused to die. Manuel thinks the reputation damage is already done. He's ready to take the L and just retreat to his office. But Liam stops him cold. Nah, let's flip the narrative. The new story, Manuel predicted the attack and coached Liam on exactly how to counter it. That explains why a kid survived a death trap. Boom. Manuel looks like a tactical genius, and for Liam, it works perfectly, because the heat stays off him, and his siblings won't view him as a threat to the throne. It's a total win-win. But Liam charges a fee: 3 full days of exclusive library access. Manuel agrees in a heartbeat. Before dipping, he hands back Limitless, dropping a subtle hint that he knows exactly what it is and where it came from, but his lips are sealed. Gina returns with news. The 3-week boot camp is over, and it's time for the final exam. They have to choose a gate to clear the trial. She's going for the nightmare difficulty. Liam. He points to a gate on the outskirts, usually code for easy mode. Gina calls him a softie, but she couldn't be more wrong. That easy path leads to a secret entrance only the elites know about. Liam walks into a generic-looking cave, but instead of a dead end, he finds a false wall. He smashes his sword against it, crumbling the rock to reveal a massive hidden gate. Liam knows the drill. He slices his palm, infusing the blood with mana, and flings it at the stone. The doors groan open, revealing a sanctuary with a legendary blade at its heart. As he steps in, Liam keeps the blood flowing, declaring his birthright as a descendant of the Lee clan to accept the ancestral challenge. A massive shockwave of magic explodes outward, and the room speaks, "Welcome to the combat hall." The mission, simple: defeat yourself. And it's literal. A perfect clone of Liam materializes. To leave, he has to kill his doppelganger just once, or he's trapped there forever. Good thing he has infinite lives, because the clone instantly speed blitzes him and lops his head off. In reality, game over. Here Liam respawns, ready for round 2. This is going to be a long grind. Nobody actually dies here, but don't get it twisted. You experience death through hyper-realistic illusions, designed to drive a normal person absolutely insane. And the kicker, The clone is a literal mirror image of 100% of your current potential, tapping into power levels Liam didn't even know existed. It's a live 4K demo of exactly what he's capable of. That's why Liam is convinced he can take the W. But theory and practice are two different beasts. What follows is a brutal montage where the clone absolutely wrecks him, in every way imaginable. We're talking over 80 repeats of straight-up humiliation. But that grind is exactly what our boy needs to finally understand his own limits. Even though it looks like he's about to snap mentally, he realizes his true meta-flexibility, insane reaction speeds, and the ability to shatter expectations. He's a wild card, totally unpredictable. With that locked in, he rushes the clone, and suddenly, he's trading blows, matching the tempo perfectly, until bam, he gets stabbed again. But wait, Liam lowered his guard on purpose to close the gap, and slices the clone clean in two with a single strike. As the clone fades away, it actually smiles, proving that winning this battle means conquering yourself. Also, clearing this room comes with a bonus, unlocking a secret Lee clan technique. In his past life, he got reinforced basic tier stuff, but this time, the game has changed. He's bathed in a brilliant golden aura. The skill he unlocks leaves him completely stunned. Of course, they gatekeep the info from us, cutting straight to the clan VIPs arriving at the island, waiting for the kids to clear their trials. Tenji is in the mix, and he instantly clocks a massive shift in mana density. Right on cue, the door cracks open. Liam steps out and immediately faceplants, passed out cold. He barely manages to mumble for water and food, leaving us to guess just how long he was stuck in that hell. Later back home, Gabriella tears into him for scaring her to death, but the anger fades fast. She's just relieved to see him back in one piece. However, the vibe shifts instantly when Liam asks about his aunt. The look on Gabriella's face says, "It's complicated. Before you panic, no, she's not dead. She's chilling in a prison cell," greeting him with a smile like it's a vacation. She notices his mana capacity skyrocketed, and when Liam tells her to cut the act, she insists she's fine. Here's the tea. She's locked up because she went nuclear on the High Elders after hearing about the assassination attempt, admitting she couldn't just sit back while her nephew was in danger. Liam realizes that even though trust was shaky at the start, she's officially earned her spot in his corner. It makes sense she feels the same way, so he promises to bust her out as soon as possible. Fast forward a few days and the patriarch touches down in Korea. The whole family lines up at the airport, matriarch, kids, Gina and Liam. And even with his recent power-up, Liam can't help but feel the suffocating gap between him and his dad. They lock eyes, and the patriarch throws some subtle shade, hinting that only one person in the lineup actually has the guts to try and dethrone him. He senses Liam's hunger, that drive to compete, even though he's supposedly just a kid. Next stop, Clan HQ, where a massive banquet is held to celebrate the kid's official naming ceremony. Liam is busy scoping out the power players until the patriarch summons him for a private chat, which has him sweating bullets thinking he's in trouble. He walks in, and surprise, his big brother is there too. Turns out, bro already spilled the beans about the island, including their little deal. Liam mans up and takes responsibility. His dad agrees to let the false report slide just this once. Manuel, however, gets grounded with banquet duty, leaving Liam alone with the boss, who actually gives him props for handling business. Plus, finding that hidden combat hall. That is a straight-up flex on its own. The patriarch agrees, promising a fat reward. Liam doesn't blink, he instantly names his price. But the scene cuts there, leaving us hanging. We jump forward to the naming ceremony, suffering through the patriarch's standard monologue before the official branding begins. We'll skip the boring speech, but here is the deal. These names are trophies reflecting their battle styles. When Liam steps up, the boss hypes his high IQ raw power, flexibility, and titanium will. He is building his future like a grandmaster blacksmith, hammering a masterpiece out of a raw block of steel. With total respect, he grants him a name symbolizing strength. Ironically, it is the exact same tag he carried in his past life. But the vibe is totally different. Back then, it was a wish hoping he would become tough as steel. Now, it's a receipt. It's not about potential anymore. It is about the power he has already proved he owns. Smash cut to the clan's judicial isolation wing, aka the dungeon. Poor Genesis is losing her mind, screaming that she is done and furious she missed her precious baby's big moment. He promised to bail her out, but days have passed, and nothing. Honestly, I don't know who is suffering more, her or the guards dealing with her tantrums. Suddenly, the phone rings. The order comes down. Release her. She still has penalties to face later, but she is free to go. The crazy lady bursts out, happier than ever, finding Liam waiting at the gate. He coolly hands her a paper. "You owe me." Boom. Liam used his wish to spring her from the slammer. But he didn't just free her. He promoted her to clan elder so she can officially be his master. 200 IQ play. Genesis is floored, barely believing it. Liam just smirks, take care of me. Cue the time skip. 13 years old now. Our MC packs his bags, leaving the crib he shared with Gabriella. It is time for the clan academy. He joins the other heirs, cousins, and an army of worker kids. And yeah, the grapevine is toxic. They see him as nothing but a lucky, illegitimate mistake. These haters have zero chill, trash-talking him right to his face. And they don't shut up until Gina rolls up. The legitimate prodigy. The rookie MVP. But plot twist, her vibe toward Liam has completely shifted. She walks right up to say hi. She admits it has been forever, and actually apologizes for icing him out back in the day. Liam plays it cool, telling her not to sweat it. She looks genuinely relieved that they are on good terms now. She even props him for having his aunt as a teacher, and snagging that library pass. But the teachers interrupt to sort everyone into classes. The tension spikes. This placement basically decides if your next 3 years are heaven or hell. Assignments are based on potential. No pressure, right? Gina lands in Class 1, the elite tier, obviously. But Liam he gets tossed into Class 5, aka the dumpster. It is where they throw the mediocrities to rot until they quit. Liam isn't shocked. Despite crushing the ceremony, he knew the matriarch, and the elders would try to bury him. He figured this sabotage was coming. He doesn't care, but Gina, she is triggered. She knows it's rigged. Her face goes red with rage, shooting him a look like, say the word, and I will burn this place down. Liam ignores the drama and joins the Class 5 rejects, a sea of NPCs. Except for this guy right here, Ken. He steps up saying he has been dying to meet the MC. He introduces himself as a humble blacksmith's son, acting like standing next to Liam is a huge honor. Weird part, Liam has zero memory of this dude from his past life. He asks why the fanboying Ken keeps it 100% real. He has heard every rumor and legend about Liam over the years. No filter. He also admits he is chill with Class 5. It's not game over. He plans to grind his way up. That is exactly the kind of gritty mindset Liam respects. Then the rest of the squad arrives. This group includes recruits a couple of years older, so Lucas, their assigned instructor, decides to burn the day on some icebreaker bonding nonsense. The guy is weirdly hyped about it, acting way too enthusiastic, even though every other teacher agrees that babysitting the leftovers is basically a punishment. Here's the kicker though, Liam instantly clocks him as the guy who tutored him privately in his past life. That's also where they run into Agustin, a total sad sack who's already flunked this grade twice. Technically, he's the current class rep, but he's begging to step down so they can elect a new leader to captain the squad, especially since they're about to start running actual missions. Because yeah, the whole point of this academy is to put these kids to work immediately. And sure, the instructors teach the curriculum, but the class leaders, they call the shots on everything else. The plan was to settle this with some light, friendly sparring matches. No mana, just hands followed by a democratic vote. But Liam isn't having any of it, and cuts the whole thing short. He looks at them like they're insane, basically calling this little playtime hot garbage. This is the Lee clan, not a playground. If they wanted to play school, they should have enrolled in a normal academy. But he doesn't just talk smack, Liam instantly grabs his sword, hops into the ring, and demands everyone come at him with everything they've got. His plan, crush them all, right here, right now. And sure enough, in a matter of minutes, he absolutely dismantles the majority of the class. Agustin watches in total shock, asking how that's even possible. Liam just ignores the awe and tells him to call up the next victim, Cadet. But, surprise, surprise, there's nobody left. The only one standing is Agustin himself. So Liam tells him to quit stalling and get in the ring, proceeding to batter him with such brutality that the poor guy can't help but wonder, why is he taking this so seriously? It's a meaningless spar with zero rewards and a squad full of rookie nobodies. Plus, it's obvious Liam is running on fumes and can barely swing his sword properly. But then it clicks. Agustin realizes he knows exactly why Liam is fighting like a maniac. Because he used to be the same way, desperate to win, desperate to be the best. Until the harsh reality checked him, he realized he didn't have the talent, and he gave up. But this moment changes everything. Liam's sheer ferocity wakes something up inside him. Agustin gets serious, and they have an intense exchange that ends with Agustin losing his weapon and getting his right hand completely crushed. Liam thinks the battle is a wrap. But the kid scrambles to his feet, switches to his left hand, and comes at him with a wild, desperate look in his eyes. It's a massive shift from the pathetic attitude he showed during introductions. Seeing that fire, Liam decides to honor it by going even harder. And that's when he finally puts him down, insisting that he lives every second like it's an hour, and every hour like it's a year, a full year. Because the only way to truly live is to pour your soul into every single moment and fight to protect yourself, and everyone standing next to you. It doesn't matter if they're stuck in Class 5, they have to fight to survive. Afterward, Lucas walks up to mention he might have gone a little overboard. 4 kids have broken bones, and 3 are in the infirmary with organ damage. But Liam stands his ground, insisting this is the only way they'll survive this clan. He basically shuts the teacher up, pointing out that the message was definitely received. Lucas admits he's a soft-hearted guy, which is rare in this brutal clan. But a trembling teacher will only lead his students to an early grave. Now the real payoff happens the next day. Despite the savage beatdown, the kids show up, look him dead in the eye with respect, and prove they are absolutely ready to throw hands. That's when Ken steps up apologizing for putting up such a weak fight. But with a solid resolve, he asks, what exactly do they need to do to get on Liam's level? Liam admits he's not really in a position to be playing teacher yet, but he notes that Ken has killer instincts and actually dodged his strikes several times during the brawl yesterday. So his advice is to double down on perfecting what he's already good at. Then Augustine limps in looking so wrecked that even Liam tells him he should have stayed in bed. But the guy refuses. He says he wasn't about to get lectured for being weak again, showing a grit that proves he's evolved. Meanwhile, Lucas reports that 11 students decided to quit and didn't show up. He notices everyone else is super tense, so for a split second, he considers giving them a day off. Then he immediately flips the script, deciding what they really need is a full evaluation of their basic skills, injuries be damned. By the time they finish, 10 whole hours have passed, and the cadets are absolutely cooked. But Lucas reminds Liam that there's still one thing left: his training session with the squad. Liam is dead on his feet and almost refuses, until he realizes he can't be the hypocrite. Who gives up now, not after he beat them senseless yesterday, just to teach them a lesson about resilience, that they have to keep fighting. So he drags himself in front of the group and introduces himself all over again. Liam steps up and drops the hammer, immediately establishing the pecking order as the new class captain. His word is law, second only to the instructor. And he's cooked up a training regimen straight from hell for anyone brave enough or crazy enough to keep up with his pace. He makes it clear he's not twisting anyone's arm, it's strictly voluntary. But of course some random extra has to chime in, calling him way too cocky. Liam doesn't even flinch. He just hits them with the facts. You want the crown, come take it. All you gotta do is beat me. Since nobody has a death wish, the sparring begins. It's a total grind, and after hours of non-stop combat, only 6 fighters are still standing on their feet. Liam finally dismisses the class, but the whining starts immediately. The dropouts are already throwing shade at his savage teaching style. That's when Ken snaps. He tells them to zip it, pointing out that all that rage shouldn't be directed at the protagonist. It should be turned inward for being so pathetic and weak. Augustine backs him up, dropping some hard truths. He admits he's been hard stuck in this rank for 2 straight years with 0 progress. If he doesn't level up now, he's going to regret it forever. He realizes Liam isn't trying to torture them. He's pushing them to break their limits. So it's time to stop crying, lock in, and actually squeeze every drop of value out of this opportunity. Meanwhile, off the clock, Liam and Genesis are grinding on their experiments. They're trying to manifest aura, but it's just fail after fail. Genesis sighs, wishing she had access to more ancient archives on how mana was actually wielded back in the old days. Our main character is getting frustrated too, because he hasn't been able to unlock any fresh memories within his current limits. Although he did catch a glitch in the Matrix while digging through the library, a flash of a memory showing a single terrifying creature. This thing was dripping with an ink-black aura, so dark even the monsters were terrified of it. It took the kingdom's strongest heroes just to seal it away. Legend has it, the king showered them with so much loot and glory that out of pure gratitude, those heroes created the boundaries. But here's the kicker, nobody knows what materials they used, or how any of this actually connects to that mysterious shadow beast. Either way, Genesis is feeling confident. She just hit 3-star rank, so she knows they're gonna smash through these roadblocks soon. It's literally just a matter of time before they master their aura manipulation and unlock everything that comes with it. Then she switches gears and asks him about his new. She keeps hinting that she's got his back if he ever needs backup. But our MC, he is completely clueless about her intentions. The answer hits him the very next day when Genesis crashes his classroom. Lucas hypes her entrance, announcing she's here to drop a special masterclass on mana arts. It starts with a total snooze fest of theory before finally getting to the juicy practical stuff, where she shows them how to boost their mana levels. Guess who's the first test dummy? Our MC, who gives her a nod for the assist. Then they announce that partner sparring is back on. Augustine hesitates for a second, then steps up to the MC, demanding a rematch and promising that this time he's actually going to bring the heat. Liam smirks, telling him that's exactly the energy he wants, and they throw down. Genesis watches from the sidelines, noticing the MC's ruthless streak mirrors her own dark side. But she also catches the other students trash-talking him. They hate his guts, claiming that despite his outcast history, he's clearly just flashing his natural advantages and treating them like they don't grind hard even though he's clueless. Look, the NPCs kinda have a point, but Genesis shuts that down, looming over them with a terrifying aura and reminding them they have 0 clue what hell the MC survived. Most of them fold and apologize immediately, but this kid with the trendy haircut isn't having it. He insists Liam is toxic. spitting on their efforts as if they're nothing, ignoring that they're just broke kids of common workers. Genesis holds her ground, telling them their lives have been easy mode compared to the nightmare Liam has lived through. Mr. Trendy swallows his rage, convinced these clan heirs are totally out of touch, and vows to expose the truth. So after training, he goes full detective mode, grabbing some other recruits to tail the MC into the main estate to spy on his luxury life. Joke's on them, they follow him to a research lab where he's locked in with Genesis for hours. By 9 o'clock at night, the other stalkers bail, complaining they're too wrecked to keep watching, leaving only Trendy and the diehards. They wait a while longer, until they see Liam stumble out looking dead on his feet. But instead of crashing, he drags his exhausted body straight to the training hall, where he goes absolutely feral on the equipment. The group realizes they actually could be working harder. They urge him to leave, but Mr. Trendy isn't ready to accept that the answer is that simple. He grinds in his free time too, yet the gap between them is massive. At this point, he's obsessed with proving Liam has some secret cheat code, so he keeps watching, staying even after his buddies bail. A security guard eventually busts him, revealing that the MC pulls this insane routine every single day. Once Liam finally heads home, his window light burns for hours until the stalker kid literally passes out from exhaustion. The real shocker, when he drags himself to class at 5 in the morning, Liam is already there, visibly destroyed. He clearly ran on less than 3 hours of sleep. That's when it clicks for Trendy. The gap isn't about status or bloodlines. It's about the hours he spends gaming while the MC is killing himself training. He walks up, asking if Liam is tired. The MC instantly recognizes him as one of the creeps following him yesterday. Ignoring the question, Trendy accuses him of coasting on the main clan's support, and the MC just shrugs, admitting, yeah, he's exhausted because he barely sleeps. As for why he trains like a maniac, he already knows the answer. You can lie to yourself, but bloodline potential has a ceiling. Everything else comes from pure grind. Meanwhile, we cut to the patriarch, who is getting his own workout in when the butler approaches with a list of dungeons. Ranked 7 and 8, warning, they are death traps for cadets. But the patriarch disagrees, claiming they aren't dangerous enough to forge true warriors. Then the butler drops the news about the MC's recent wins. The old man isn't shocked, saying he knew the kid was built different since birth. He had the eyes of someone who lost everything and would burn the world down to prevent it from happening again. That, combined with his insane leadership skills, makes him unstoppable. The higher-ups are demanding even more pressure on his class. They need to know right now if this kid has the DNA of a clan leader. Cut to Liam rolling up to school, ready to crush another day, with class 5. But he walks in and gets absolutely shook. These kids have been grinding for hours, on a weekend, and the wildest part, he didn't have to drag them there. It takes a hot minute for them to even notice him, commenting that Teach is putting in the work too. But Liam isn't just there for a flex. He's got an announcement. The official evaluation. It's been moved up. Way up. So plot twist, they're getting a full week off to recharge their batteries before the madness starts. Liam pauses, thinking about assigning some light drills, but one look at their eyes, that savage determination makes it crystal clear, no babysitting needed. He tells them straight up, I trust you guys to go hard this week. Class dismissed. But Liam's spidey sense is tingling. Moving the test up feels sus. But here's the kicker, nobody moves. The whole squad just stands there frozen behind him, waiting for orders on exactly how to relax. Liam hits them with the reality check. That's on you. If they gave you a break, maybe actually take it. He leaves them with their jaws on the floor. It's obvious they were bracing for some kind of Hell Week boot camp. Liam catches the vibe, asking if they'd prefer a replay of the day 1 torture session. He insists, listen to your body, that's the real strategy. For every single one of them. They finally scatter, leaving Liam to his real agenda, experimenting with Genesis. Genesis is running on fumes, begging him to go sleep or literally do anything else. But she drops a bomb. The schedule change came directly from the patriarch. No one knows why, but Liam knows the game. This means the test is going to be 1,000 times harder than usual. His best play, focus on leveling up his mana by diving deep into the memories locked inside Limitless. It doesn't make total sense yet, but he sprints to the training room, grabs the blade, and drenches it in mana. He needs to visualize a nightmare opponent, something that will truly challenge him, helping him manifest real killing intent. And the first thing that pops into his head, that millennial monster from the flashbacks. He squares up, channeling the singular purpose Limitless was forged for. Slaying beasts exactly like that. Sounds complicated, but the effect is instant. The second he launches an attack, a dark aura explodes from the sword, swallowing him whole. While Liam wonders with hype what it's going to show him this time, he gets isekai'd into a dojo that looks just like his, but the vibe is ancient. And he's not solo. There's a warrior there moving like a glitch, shifting the form of Limitless with every frantic motion. The weapon's aura is shifting like it has a mind of its own. Suddenly, the warrior speaks. You should stop waiting for people during training. It looks like he's talking to our MC, but it's someone else. A new figure steps in, calling the technique fascinating, and suggests naming it the 1,000 Forms. The warrior shrugs, not bad, then asks if he brought backup. The newcomer says no, but it's clear he senses our boy Liam watching. Spooked, Liam ducks for cover, but it's pointless. The other man lunges at the warrior, thinking he came all this way, just to catch a fade. He unleashes brutal strength, and Liam instantly recognizes those features. That's the founder of the Lee clan. But we're left hanging on how he connects to the mystery warrior, because boom time skip. 1 week later, Class 5 is crossing the massive wall, separating the safe zone from the Badlands, where the test is going down. But to give you some context on the danger level here, we get a lore drop. Ages ago, a massive rift called the Blue Hole tore open near the Pacific Ocean, an unknown dimension that's impossible to map, spewing out every type of nightmare monster you can imagine. Humanity spent centuries fighting for survival. Through endless wars, they reclaimed a lot of turf. But there are still the unexplored zones or danger zones fenced off by Titan walls. The deeper you go, the faster you die. In his past life, our protagonist actually lived in the first villages, abandoned during the war to hide, so he knows this hood intimately. He knows exactly what's lurking in the dark, so he turns to the squad, abandoned bunkers used during the war. He knows those tunnels like the back of his hand, so he tells the squad exactly where to go. Heads on a swivel, people. We are stepping into uncharted territory, a dungeon that hasn't even been mapped yet. Touchdown. Lucas drops the news immediately. We are setting up base camp right here, right now. The clock starts ticking once we are settled. And don't look at the guards for help. They are strictly on base defense duty. Translation: survival is 100% on you. He has got your back from the sidelines, but he is banned from stepping foot inside the dungeon with you. So bring your A game. Liam takes command and drops a harsh reality check this test. It is way above a student's pay grade. That is on him, so if anyone wants to tap out now, zero judgment. Now, for the nightmare fuel, we are dealing with a forest dungeon infested with human-faced spiders. The objective: catch them in 4K and then wipe them out. But here's the kicker. Class 5 isn't about that quitting life. They clap back, insisting they trust their training and their leader. No backing down. Liam nods. If they are in, they are all in. He orders final prep before breaching the tree line. Breaking it down, these spiders aren't your friendly neighborhood arachnids. They are chaotic and lethal, so tread lightly. Mission parameter: gather data on any specimen aged 10 years or older. We need that footage. Here is the plot twist. Liam puts Agustina in charge. Why? Because he is going solo to be the ultimate bait. Sounds insane, right? But the squad agrees. Next thing we see is our main character, absolutely obliterating spiders. It is a total power flex, playing on the fact that these monsters only hunt prey that they deem worthy of a fight. He has to prove he is the apex predator, baiting them to swarm closer and closer, until they overwhelm him, but they don't kill him. His vision fades to black, and when he snaps back to reality, he is cocooned in their lair, totally immobilized, exactly where he wanted to be. He instantly engages stealth to erase his presence. Shaking off the dizziness, he scopes the area. It is a horror show, massive feeding cocoons everywhere. There is way too much prey stockpiled here. It is suspicious that the spiders haven't feasted yet. But then he spots the main event, a ridiculously massive cocoon, thrashing violently, trying to break free. And weirdly, it triggers a resonance with Liam's dark energy. Like never before, the thing rips itself free, and Liam realizes his mistake. That is not a victim. That is the queen, a rank 5 monster. She speaks hissing that her babies must be starving. Liam immediately doubles down on his camouflage, staying dead silent. But then it hits him. She didn't actually speak out loud. She read his mind through that dark energy connection. Big problem. If she can hear him, she can find him. She launches an attack straight at him, shattering his stealth. She locks eyes with him, demanding, "What are you?" She sensed the energy that woke her coming from inside him, which makes zero sense because humans aren't supposed to have that kind of power. By this point, Liam is clueless. She starts screaming at him to hand it over, unleashing a paralyzing aura worthy of a top-tier apex predator. But our boy, he completely ignores the pressure, takes a breath, and gets ready to throw hands. Seeing he is not shaking in his boots, the queen loses it and threatens to end him right there. But she doesn't even get the chance, because seconds later, boom, the entire lair detonates into 1,000 pieces. The blast sets the surrounding forest ablaze. The queen starts to panic, but Liam, he just flashes a savage grin, explaining he planted an explosive projectile. The plan: burn this whole place to ash. Plus, that explosion is the signal for the squad to storm the lair. Meanwhile, Lucas picks up a massive rank 5 mana spike and radios Liam worried. But Liam, he is cool as a cucumber, telling him everything is going exactly according to plan. His confidence just triggers the queen even more. She dispatches her children to save the forest, declaring she will personally handle exterminating this intruder. As she closes in, She warns him not to get too cocky about his skills or his teammates. But Liam hits her with the reverse card. She is the one who shouldn't be underestimating them. He flares up a brilliant mana aura, proving he is ready to rumble. At the same time, the squad splits into teams strapped with explosives to scatter the spider horde, while carving out an escape route for Liam. They have already figured out that things in the lair have gone sideways. They are just praying he can hold the line until they get there to watch his back. But honestly, might not even be necessary. The queen is shook. She can't believe her attacks aren't doing a thing. Versus a mere human, please. The MC flips the switch on his magic eyes, reading the mana flow like code to dodge fatal hits. But he's not walking away 100% scratch-free. Luckily, the queen isn't at her max level yet, so he seizes that tiny window of opportunity to unleash his heaviest hitter so far, painting the floor with gallons of nasty green blood. Too bad the creature's shell is tankier than a vault door. That shot just ticked her off. Now she's screaming threats, vowing to enslave him and make him suffer for literally all eternity. And she's not bluffing. Next second, she launches a massive web attack, jacking straight into the protagonist's brain and looping one command over and over: submit. It hits instantly. Liam starts screaming in agony while she just cackles at his pain. But that smirk gets wiped off real quick when she suddenly coughs up a lungful of blood. She realizes too late that the MC never fell for her mind games. The scream was just bait for his real trap. And that was just the opener. Boom. Another bomb detonates right in her face, and he coolly tells Ken and the squad, "You guys are late." They explain they had some bugs to squash, but the extraction is ready. They stroll out of the forest like bosses, cutting straight to the Academy Control Center, where the higher-ups assume Class 5 folded just like Class 4. But then Lucas bursts in, apologizing for the lag he had to drop the injured at the clinic first. He drops the mission report, admitting things went sideways and they used way more explosives than planned. The other professors lose it. The goal was capture and research, not blowing everything up and putting students in extreme danger. Lucas just shrugs, pointing out they captured the target. Right on cue, the MC walks in with the video file, proving their report is legit. Yeah, the plan was insane and risky, but it was the only way to pull off the impossible ask from the Academy. At the end of the day, they chose to go all out rather than take the L, proving that in this clan, results are king. Methods don't matter. The judges hesitate on how to grade this chaotic mess, but since they cleared the objective with 0 casualties, the only first-year class to do it, they snag a perfect score. Naturally, the results hit the Patriarch's desk immediately, including the grim stats: 32 recruits dead and 78 critically injured. Even though they signed liability waivers, the boss orders full medical coverage for the survivors. With that handled, the butler breaks down the performance, hyping up the protagonist's squad. He notes the combat footage looks suspiciously edited, definitely the MC covering his tracks. Surprisingly, the Patriarch isn't even mad. He thinks the kid is fascinating. What worries him is that Liam's strategy shows a depth of magic and logic that shouldn't be possible, allowing him to take calculated risks that no rookie should survive. Still, the mission was flawless, so the Patriarch decides to crank up the difficulty for everyone, figuring the pressure will force the other cadets to finally step up their game. Fast forward a few months. Class 5 is grinding non-stop, even though they just survived a total bloodbath of an exam. That was the year's final test, and the MC knows they're desperate for a break. But he reminds them the promotion trials are looming, and he's not letting a single one of them fail or get left behind. He dishes out specific training regimens for every member and keeps the momentum going, secretly impressed by their massive physical and mental glow-up. Most importantly, nobody died. Suddenly, Lucas calls him in for a sit-down with the other class leaders. Gina is there flexing about how well her team is doing, but then she drops a bomb. The matriarch summoned the instructors this morning, meaning she's likely plotting to rig the promotion tests. Liam thanks her for the heads up, but admits it's already too late. The sabotage has started. Since day one, the higher-ups have been trying to sabotage him, tossing him garbage gear and hiding key intel. Honestly, he's numb to the disrespect at this point. But Gina, she's relentless. She is dead set on crushing him fair and square, so he has absolutely 0 excuses left but to finally put some respect on her name and call her Big Sis. Our MC is just standing there, like, why are you so obsessed with me? But before that drama explodes, an elder steps in to drop the deets on the promotion exam. Listen up, because this is huge. It is going down at Gate I-7, way up north in Gaezong. And the format, a straight-up battle royale. Every student gets a tag. The mission: snatch as many as you can. You would think the heavy hitters and muscleheads would dominate, but the elder drops a bomb. This isn't a brawl. It is a hunt. Strategy beats brute force every time in this arena. The MC instantly clocks the game mechanics. If you lose your tags, you are dead to the system. Game over. But here is the glitch. Steal someone else's, you respawn. The real danger, though, the second-year students are entering the chat. And it is not just for competition. The elders are capitalizing on the isolation, hoping to use the chaos to send a hit squad to wipe him out in a place where accidents happen and evidence disappears. But what they don't realize is that the MC thrives in the shadows and he is already plotting to flip the script. Meanwhile, cut to the villain HQ, where James, the seventh son, and Sabrina, the sixth daughter, are bickering over some fresh and apparently super annoying orders from their mother. James figures it is the perfect excuse to go get a front row seat to the chaos. Sabrina, however, is in a whole other mood. Casually toying with a knife, she is raging about how she can't stand an illegitimate nobody acting like he owns the place. She decides it is time for Big Sister to step in and humble him. Real quick, smash cut to D-Day, the promotion exam. This is it. Pass this or forget about advancing to the next year. They step through a stabilized, heavily guarded portal, but Liam notices something feels off. The crowd is way smaller than usual. Did a bunch of cadets just chicken out? The numbers don't add up. But he shakes it off. He locks in. His crew is here, and he is going to make sure Class 5 dominates the leaderboard. Back at the office, Sabrina barges in on her brother again, thirsty for updates. Did Mom send more orders? James checks the feed. Relax, the second-year cadets are just touching down in the kill zone. Sabrina lights up. She is already fantasizing about the loot Mom is going to drop on them for a job well done. They have rigged the game with traps, but James is starting to sweat. He remembers Manuel's warning from days ago. Manuel told him straight up, "You can't touch the MC." Back then, James laughed. A 13-year-old bastard, stronger than me, please. But watching the clock tick, that laughter is turning into pure anxiety. Was Manuel right? Suddenly, a notification pings. Status update. 21 cadets eliminated, 15 forfeited, and Class 5, 0 casualties. Totally untouched. Sabrina is fuming, and James is trying to compute how they got outplayed by their little brother. To understand this masterclass, we gotta rewind the tape. Flashback rival cadets are sprinting for their lives, terrified. Do not let Class 5 catch us. Panting, they scramble into a cave, praying they weren't followed. They listen for footsteps. Silence. Then boom. A sword slams into the ground right next to them at Mach speed. Before they can blink, Liam drops them. He smirks, standing over them. Nice hiding spot. Too bad I found it. Terrified, one kid stammers. You won't get away with this, Liam rolls his eyes. Cut the drama. You attacked first. Now you pay the price for coming at the main bloodline. Deal with it. Moments later, Agustin pulls up. Took care of the trash on my side. The MC nods. Stick to the plan. We move solo from here. Augustin doesn't hesitate. He vanishes into the woods, leaving Liam to his thoughts. Liam realizes just snatching badges is too slow. It is inefficient. He needs to thin the herd. Time for a cheat code. He activates his magic eyes to scan the map and speedrun this search. Bingo. He spots a lonely badge dumped in the middle of nowhere, leftovers from some random battle. He decides to grind this skill, roaming the zone for hours to perfect his detection. Result: a massive bag of loot, and he didn't even have to throw a punch. But he can't dodge the drama forever. Someone has been tailing him. And finally, she steps out of the shadows to confront him. She looks annoyed that he isn't shocked. Whatever, she scoffs. Time to see what you are really made of. She lays down the law. I win, you call me big sis. I lose. Well, let's just see if you can handle me first. She's actually considering calling him Appa. Just the thought gives our MC the full body ick, and he's practically begging her to determine who actually sits at the top of the food chain. But we'll have to put a pin in that showdown because we're jumping forward a few hours. The promotion exam is officially wrapped, and naturally, it's the only thing fueling the gossip mill right now. Half the clan is betting their life savings. Gina took gold, while the haters are convinced Class 5 didn't even make it out alive. But the chatter dies instantly when the results drop. Liam is the one standing there with the biggest stack of plates. The judges have to hand him the crown. It turns out, Gina was on track to win, but after getting wrecked in the forest, Liam didn't hesitate to loot her stash, proving he's the alpha. But the real plot twist happens when they call Augustine's name. This guy didn't just pass the second year after failing twice. He clutched up and snagged third place overall. Liam gives him some serious props. Then we've got the pretty boy clocking in at rank 24, and Ken landing at 34. Ken admits it's kind of a mid-performance, but he's not letting the average score ruin his vibe. The Class 5 squad locks in on a single wavelength. The grind starts now. No more settling, no more taking L's. The bittersweet part, they're likely getting split into different classes from here on out. So Liam drops a farewell truth bomb, warning them that the difficulty setting is only going up from here. He won't be around to carry them anymore, but he trusts they can handle whatever the academy throws at them. Meanwhile, Gina is absolutely salty about her score snapping at the MC, that robbing her plates was totally unnecessary. She starts coping, claiming that if she had her actual sword instead of a training weapon, the fight would have gone way differently. Liam tells her to chill with the excuses, but internally, he knows she's right. It took him over an hour to put her down. And that's with her skills barely developed. Give it a few years and she's going to be an absolute monster on the battlefield. He definitely doesn't want a rematch. But a bet is a bet, and Gina gets ready to drop the dreaded appa. Liam slaps a hand over her mouth instantly. He warns her to shut it or this turns into a fight to the death right now. Realizing they're running late, they sprint over to the Patriarch's office to report in. Their dad actually welcomes them with open arms. Instead of just patting their backs, he wants the full debrief on what they saw out there. Our protagonist plans to keep his mouth shut about the matriarch's shady moves, but Gina immediately starts spilling the tea, finally realizing her family's true colors. She gets that competition breeds rivalry, sure, but she witnessed some seriously shady stuff, and she is done letting that slide. Voice rock steady, she drops a bomb. She wants her wins to be 100%, her merit. Pure skill, no cheats. The Patriarch is actually impressed, wondering if Liam's influence is rubbing off on his daughter, because this is definitely not the same spoiled brat from back in the day. Speaking of our MC, he's got no choice but to speak up. He keeps it real. He felt absolute shame. The Cadet Corps is supposed to be the clan's backbone, but right now, it's broken. He saw people tapping out without even trying to give 100%. That screams bad teaching loud and clear. To the Patriarch, that's a bold take, but it fits Liam perfectly. So the old man tells them to capitalize on this moment, to mold themselves into the warriors they want to be, stay sharp, but don't set limits. He even drops a few cheat codes for the second-year exams before revealing the real reason for this meeting. It's reward time. Gina doesn't waste a second. She demands a set of god-tier legendary armor. Liam, he asks for access to the Celestial Mountain. We have no clue what's up there, but the look on the Patriarch's face says it all. Cut to the MC packing his bags, figuring that, since the spiritual energy there is off the charts, it's the perfect spot to brew a ton of potions and meds. He's still shook that his dad actually gave the green light, though. See that mountain is a mandatory stop for any kid hoping to start the warrior's journey, the ultimate test, to become a recognized warrior of the Lee clan. Basically, going there is a massive power move, and coincidentally, it'll help him decode more about the limitless technique. Suddenly, Gabriella bursts in with an invite from James Lee himself. She's floored, but Liam rolls up to the office anyway, where James puts on this whole fake nice guy act, feigning brotherly love for a while. Meanwhile, our MC is dissecting every move, thinking, man, this guy deserves an Oscar. But Liam, he senses the bad vibes instantly. James tries to play the refined host, insisting Liam try. His artisanal tea yapping about brewing time and patience. It's a total power move. It's obvious to Liam that James is stalling, trying to dominate the frame and keep control of the conversation. The guy is way sharper than Liam gave him credit for. Finally, James cuts the act and brings up the promotion test, asking if Liam figured out he and Sabrina were the masterminds behind that cheating setup. The MC doesn't flinch. Yep. James immediately pivots, claiming his hands were tied, just a strategic play to distance himself from the mess and avoid making a permanent enemy. He even tosses out a fake apology, but Liam shuts him down. Save it. Liam knows the game. Haters are gonna hate. But he clarifies it's impossible not to see James as a threat when he keeps coming for him and his crew. The tension gets so thick, James actually contemplates ending him, right then and there. But he knows murder isn't the move today. Liam flips the script, implying he'll let it slide, for a price. Compensation for him and the boys. It's bold, shameless, and James, he respects the hustle. He agrees to ship premium elixirs to the Class 5 students, plus a juicier reward for Liam, which naturally Liam accepts. Deal sealed with a handshake. Just business partners closing a transaction. But as he leaves, James drops a pro tip: watch your back with Sabrina. Unlike James, who's just playing the game, she wants actual blood. Liam shrugs it off. Not my problem. I'm out of here in 1 year anyway. Meanwhile, cut to the matriarch. She is absolutely destroying Sabrina for her failure. Sabrina is on her knees, begging. But it's useless. The matriarch unleashes a mana wave so heavy, it flattens her face against the floorboards. While spitting cold facts, she won't tolerate mistakes. As far as she's concerned, Sabrina isn't her daughter anymore. That statement breaks her. Sabrina snaps frantically, promising to slide out and decapitate the illegitimate son. Right this second. But the matriarch shuts it down. It's a wrap. The bastard is shipping off to the Celestial Mountain for a full year. Her chance at redemption is gone. The matriarch exits, leaving Sabrina screaming, clawing at the hardwood floor until her nails snap off. She's gone full psycho, vowing to slaughter Liam. From the shadows, James watches. His mom is a savage. She engineered this whole breakdown just to weaponize Sabrina's obsession. He genuinely wonders if she's actually capable of taking down the MC now. Either way, he'll have to wait a year to find out, when the kid returns. Speaking of Liam, he kicks off his road trip with a surprise +1, his dad's personal butler. The guy says, "Relax, short trip, I got you." But Liam isn't buying it. The butler claims he has a package for the mountain guardian, so he's tagging along, Translation: he's babysitting on the patriarch's orders. Liam tries to keep a poker face, wondering if this is a requirement or a trap. Suddenly the butler flexes, leaking a potent aura that screams, "I am not an NPC. This guy has more pull in the clan than most elders." Lesson learned, stay on his good side. So when the old man asks why they're pitting at the esteemed mountain before the celestial mountain, Liam plays the good son card to pay respects to the ancestors, a classy move for a so-called bastard. Then things get philosophical. When the butler, who apparently loves hiking, drops a question, "How do you climb a steep peak?" Liam goes full grind set, lock eyes on the summit and push, but the old man shakes his head. Wrong. Sometimes you gotta pivot, retreat, and find the flow. Brute force isn't the only way to win. In fact, the higher the stakes, the more you need to chill and read the terrain. It clicks for Liam. He's not talking about dirt and rocks. He's talking about martial arts. Since Liam time traveled, he's been speedrunning, hoarding power without actually processing any of it. The butler doesn't know the secret, but he's giving Liam the signal to slow down, master the craft, and see the other paths leading to the esteemed mountain, sacred VIP turf for the Lee family that only those with the bloodline or special clearance can enter. That's why the butler, an outsider, visits every year to scrub the ancient patriarch's tomb. As for our protagonist, he's got a plan, is stepping up to pay respects at the progenitor's ancestral tablets. But the second he crosses that barrier, boom, it's like he just teleported into a whole new dimension. Radiating intense spiritual energy, he breaks away and heads straight for the progenitor's tomb. That's the final resting place of the clan's founder. He pays his respects, but then climax time, he draws his blade, looking ready to throw hands. But hold up, there's a method to this madness. He's not gripping no limits. Nope, he's wielding Black Twilight, the founder's own weapon. He lays it on the altar with reverence, but this isn't just for show. It's a secret ritual his big brother spilled the tea on right before biting the dust in the previous timeline. Here's the deal. That blade is locked behind 8 seals and he's only unlocked 3. Seal number 1. That's the Swordmaster check, just to prove you own that title. The second verifies his bloodline. And the third, that one shatters after the naming ceremony. Dragging the sword all the way out here is the only way to snag clues for the remaining seals. So the second metal touches stone, a massive shockwave of energy blasts out, carving the word heaven onto a nearby mirror. That's code for Celestial Mountain. Now it's crystal clear. That's his next destination. It makes sense the founder was obsessed with that place, choosing it as the ultimate training ground for his bloodline. Wasting zero time, our MC marches to the base, where the mana is thick enough to choke on. He links back up with the butler and guards, but then plot twist. A drunk old geezer stumbles onto the scene. And get this, our MC didn't even sense his presence until he was right there. This guy's leaking such a killer aura that the guards instantly go into combat mode. Then the old man casually grabs a guard by the skull and face plants him into the dirt like it's nothing. He doesn't stop there. He wrecks the rest of the squad, snapping their swords like cheap plastic toys. He locks eyes with the butler and drops a reminder. You need a 1-month notice to visit. Clearly this drunk isn't some random NPC. The butler introduces him as the guardian of the Celestial Mountain. Then he introduces our boy Liam, the controversial 9th son, which actually piques the guardian's interest. He asks if Liam tracked his movements and admits the kid gives off vibes similar to the patriarch. Suddenly, a sharp pain shoots through Liam's eyes, and the guardian immediately smirks, noting that the kid has some very interesting eyes. We're left hanging on how he spotted that secret, but the scene cuts to the guardian's place. The butler bribes the old man with a mountain of booze, and the guardian asks Liam to spill his backstory. Figuring a kid sent to this hellhole must have drawn the short straw in life. Liam corrects him, he volunteered. But honestly, he's too busy obsessing over what his magic eye just revealed. Turns out the guardian isn't exactly human, or not 100%. He's a dakebi, a creature that can read people's destinies. Curious, the old man asks what Liam's game plan is for the year, up on the mountain. Liam knows he has to tread lightly with the butler in the room, because anything, he says, is getting reported straight back to Daddy Dearest. But we don't hear the answer, he just heads off to train, leaving the guardian muttering about how interesting this kid is. Then he presses the butler for the truth, asking why he really came. No way he traveled all this distance just to babysit. Spot on. The patriarch sent him to check if the guardian has seen any celestial signs regarding the clan's fate. Surprisingly, the guardian nods yes, but he plays coy, acting like there isn't much to tell at first. After greasing the wheels with more booze, he starts yapping. He mentions the kid has a brutal road ahead of him. The gate of heaven has cracked open, humanity's strength has peaked, and total chaos. It's knocking at the door. His advice, don't panic, just let nature take its course. The butler promises to relay the message. Then they pivot back to Liam, both totally shook by the fact that a rookie like him is aiming for that place. The butler warns the old man not to sleep on the kid, telling him to keep an eye on Liam if he gets bored. He guarantees it'll be a good show. Cut to our MC, stepping onto the training grounds through a portal hidden inside a tree. He's wondering if all this magic is part of the Guardian's power set. No time to dwell though, he starts his warm-up. He's got a full year, but he's determined to push every single technique to its absolute limit. That kind of mastery doesn't come cheap. As the days roll by, the Guardian watches him, like he's binging a new reality TV show, admitting the kid has serious guts to survive such a brutal grind. I'm talking body, completely wrecked, bones pulverized. But does he stop? Nope, he's chugging hundreds of potions just to drag himself back into the grind. From the outside, this looks like a straight-up suicide run. Which, to be fair, totally explains why his original fate was to check out early. But here's the plot twist. Somehow he flipped the script. Now, not even he can predict where this crazy timeline is heading. The Guardian's never seen hustle like this before, so he decides to grab some popcorn and keep tabs on the kid. Fast forward 3 months of repetitive grinding later, and the Guardian is bored out of his mind. He actually stops watching, probably wondering if Liam's already kicked the bucket. Until Screech, a spirit beast, screams out of nowhere. The Guardian rushes in, expecting some intruder is crashing the party. But instead of an enemy, he sees our boy Liam hunting the poor thing down. He screams at him to stop, and Liam, he just waves like they're meeting for coffee. He's all yo long time no see before telling the Guardian to step aside because he's kinda in the middle of something here. The Guardian starts losing it, screaming that there is no way he's letting anyone lay a finger on his sacred spirits. Okay, time out. Huge misunderstanding. Liam clarifies he has zero beef with the creatures, and he's definitely not chasing it down for a snack. He's just trying to teach the little rascal a lesson for swiping one of his precious elixirs. But the Guardian isn't having it. He tells Liam to give it up once a spirit beast goes into stealth mode. Catching it is basically impossible. Liam. He hits the ignore button and sprints straight toward where the spirit is hiding, proving his aura perception is so leveled up that invisible means absolutely nothing to him. It's not just eyes though. He's pumping mana into his steps for speed and camouflage. Those 3 months of hell yeah, he's on a whole new tier now. He doesn't manage to snag it though. So he breaks it down. He's been out here scavenging rare ingredients for his special brews. He's been cooking up something big, hunting for components. And right when he was about to grab the final piece, that little furball swooped in and snatched the elixir. That potion was the whole reason he came here. So basically, the last 100 days of grinding just went down the drain. To make it worse, the Guardian starts lecturing him like a disappointed parent, saying he never gave permission to harvest anything. But Liam plays the victim card perfectly. He gets the Guardian to feel so guilty that the guy actually offers to make it up to him. I'll do anything he says. Big mistake. A demonic grin spreads across Liam's face. Cool, I need 2 things. Cut to the training grounds. They aren't chilling anymore. They're facing off against the Spider Queen. Don't ask me where he summoned her from, but Liam is locked in, trying to keep every hit in his combo hitting as hard as the first. It starts off strong, but the damage output just isn't enough to delete her health bar yet. Just as he's about to face tank a massive hit, the Queen vanishes into a seal held by the Guardian. The Guardian is already regretting this garbage deal, whining about it while holding the seal. But hey, no takebacks now. He tells Liam to focus hard on the memories of people he knows. Suddenly, the seal morphs again. It's not the Spider Queen this time. It's Manuel. Well, a perfect illusion of him rips straight from Liam's brain. It's powered by the Guardian's illusion magic, but the detail is all Liam. The Guardian is baffled. How did this kid know he could even do that? Still, he figures being a glorified projector is less of a headache than the second request, hunting for herbs. Watching Liam spar, he realizes the kid hasn't just gotten faster, he's built like a tank now. Solid. Dangerous. But what's really catching his eye, that weapon Liam is swinging around. Training wraps up, and Liam caps off the night, soaking in the healing waters like usual. The Guardian decides to crash the bath, admitting that in all his centuries he's never seen a mortal grind this hard. He suggests Liam actually take a break for once. Solid advice, but Liam. He admits this guy gives him the creeps. He starts packing his gear to bail. The Guardian shouts for him to wait and drops the bomb. Tell me about Limitless. He knows that power. He assures Liam he's safe here. Liam relaxes slightly and admits he dug it out of his family's ancient archives. The weird part, the Guardian swears he's seen it before, or at least something that looked exactly like it. He remembers a mysterious shaman who chatted with spirits and read the stars like a book. Dude was a wizard with spells, and he did it all using a single stone that could shapeshift into anything. He kept that thing on him 24/7. He became the goat of his era, the best shaman alive. But that stone, yeah, that was the problem. Power he trusted so much ended up chewing him up, driving him totally psycho, until he was moving like some undying berserker. They had to seal that monstrosity away. As for the stone, the other shamans teamed up to smash it into dust. Sounds like history repeating itself, right? But here's the twist, that shaman was locked up miles away. So Liam connects the dots. These are 2 completely different beasts. Still, the stone and the dagger, definite link, and that connection becomes undeniable. When the Guardian drops a bomb, it reeks, the exact same vile stench as the stone. Not human, not beast, not spirit, just an unknown eldritch entity that he should probably ditch before it consumes him. Sounds like friendly advice, sure, but the tone, that's a straight-up threat. Liam doesn't blink. He tells him, if this power is mine, I'm gonna break it until it obeys me. The Guardian pushes back. That arrogant mindset might have worked with his old kit, but this artifact is in a league of its own. Basically, listen to me voluntarily, or I'll beat the lesson into you. Bam! He summons a spiked staff out of thin air and swings it, stopping mere inches from Liam's nose. The air gets heavy. He demands the weapon again, warning Liam that he hasn't unsealed his own blade in ages, and he might not be able to hold back his god-tier strength. It sounds like a serious death threat, because it is. But Liam, he just smirks. He calls the bluff. You won't do it. That would break the pact. The Guardian is shook. He didn't think the kid knew the rules. Liam recites the oath. Made to the founder, protect the mountain, assist in training. Crushing the trainee, major violation. The lethal intent was just a test. The Guardian admits defeat, but doubles down on the warning. He can't get a full read on that creepy shaman energy. It doesn't feel like it's going to eat Liam right now, but he needs to stay frosty. They wrap it up, with Liam getting cheeky. He'll use that life-threatening pressure as fuel. Back at the shelter, it's grind time. He flexes his dark energy to hack the memories of two specific swords James gifted him before the mountain trip. Judo and Fenberg. Fenberg is packing serious ice magic, but has a boring backstory. Still, it unlocks a massive cheat code. Liam can now apply copied weapon buffs to his own body. Then there's Judo. Its perk is teleportation, which Liam uses to snap the Black Twilight sword right into his hand, wondering if he's finally leveled up enough to crack its memories. Spoiler, he has. The second that dark energy hits, he's isekai'd straight into a vision of the Founder's private sanctuary, and things go south immediately. In the memory, the Founder is arguing with a shady hooded figure, explaining the plan to lock the sword away. He can't let his bloodline get corrupted by such toxic dark nature. Basically, only the absolute fittest can wield this thing. And even then, the power is drip-fed, unlocking level by level to keep the user sane. The seal is so high tier that it's actually scrambling the audio. Liam can't even hear half the conversation. But he catches the golden nugget. The sword's ultimate ability activates when the third seal breaks, which is exactly where Liam is at. Then, the Founder grabs the blade and pumps mana through it, circulating it like veins in a human body until poof, it vanishes. He tests it while Hooded Guy panics, insisting they need a stronger lock. Liam gets booted from the vision, but the realization hits him hard. The Founder wasn't hiding his magic. The sword was erasing the mana. Total nullification. Cue the montage. 7 months fly by. Liam is non-stop grinding against illusions of his past enemies. Even the Queen. He's one-shotting her now. His technique has evolved into something terrifying. The Guardian feels the sting. Since he controls the illusions, every hit Liam lands feels like a personal defeat. Then a shocker, Liam is the one calling it quits for the day. But he's not tired. He's bored. He tells the Guardian he's ready to level up to the next stage and take on the Emperor's Gauntlet, the Blood Dream, a trial exclusively for the main family bloodline, consisting of a matrix-like illusion world so complex that the Guardian's main job is playing bouncer to decide who enters. He tells Liam, "You're not ready," then pauses. Actually, close enough. He gives the green light, betting it all on the kid. No time to waste. They head to the portal entrance. Usually this is just a cave leading to the Guardian's crib, 99% of the time. But when he powers it up, the reality shifts, revealing a massive, intimidating iron gate. Final warning before entry. Once you step in, there's no tapping out. But that's a nightmare for another time. Right now, our MC steps up with that main character energy, pure confidence. The gatekeeper can only wish him luck before bam. A blinding white light engulfs everything. Liam's mind races through the lore. The clan founder, god of war, hero slayer, the protagonist of every major legend. But looking at him now, forget the hype. It's just a man standing there. Exactly. The trial is a 1v1 against an echo of the Founder himself, radiating an aura so heavy, you'd swear he was still breathing. The kicker, this projection is only 15 years old, yet maybe 1 or 2 heirs, per generation, have the guts to even challenge him. And barely a second ticks by, before the Founder drives a blade straight through Liam's heart. Instant execution. Liam gasps, waking up in a cold sweat, completely shook. Compared to the shadow clone training on the island, he didn't even see this attack coming. The scariest part, the Founder moved before Liam could even load up a skill, or buff his body with aura. It was pure instinct, surgical precision that no amount of prep could counter. Even his mana eyes were useless. The Founder is simply built different, but there's no quit in him. Liam scrambles back to his feet for round 2, bracing himself as the legend approaches, with the pressure of a walking natural disaster. Meanwhile, back in the Patriarch's office, the boss, Gets a ping from the Guardian. Liam just crossed the threshold after only 10 months of grinding. And while the Patriarch doubts anyone can clear this nightmare difficulty on the first run, he tells himself to trust the process. After all, the kid hasn't taken a single L yet. Basically, he's not a god, but he's proven that with enough hustle, there's no wall he can't smash through. That's a huge factor considering 50% of challengers wash out completely. Not because they're weak, but because their mental game shatters against the founder's perfection. The Patriarch wonders, what happens when an unstoppable force finally hits a truly immovable object? To find out, we cut back to our MC face planted on the floor, unable to process getting one-shotted. Again. This time, the founder feinted a frontal assault only to drift and strike from the side, slipping right through his blind spots. It means he's already downloaded Liam's entire movement pattern, leaving him with that crushing despair, the terrifying realization that the skill gap is just too wide. But here's the difference thanks to his past life. Liam is already best friends with hopelessness, and he refuses to go back to that dark place. When you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. He throws himself at the founder, over and over spamming retries until he realizes something: this isn't infinite mystical power. The founder was human. His strength came from finding the perfect counter to every single problem, reacting with absolute precision. He mastered the fundamentals of every martial art, meaning nothing could catch him off guard. So Liam decides to stop panic fighting and starts mirroring him, analyzing the sword's trajectory until the chaos turns into patterns. Obviously, Liam gets wrecked every single time, but he keeps promising himself, next one is the one. This loop goes on for what feels like days. Slowly, his reaction time levels up, reaching a point where he's actually trading blows, forcing the founder to burn aura just to stay ahead. But that's the trap. Liam stays icy, calm, and realizes the truth. The real objective isn't to beat the ghost, but to break the wall within himself. The founder is just a mirror showing him the ugly truth. Without realizing it, Liam had been limiting himself, copying other people's fighting styles, instead of unleashing his own broken talent for magic. It clicks instantly. He remembers his aunt dropping similar wisdom, so he thanks the Phantom and unleashes a wind spell so massive, it obliterates the founder, shattering his own limits in the process. Outside, the Guardian is sweating bullets, because it's been a full month since Liam entered. In the last 100 years, only his dad survived this. Just as doubt starts creeping in, a massive earthquake begins ripping through the entire mountain. She sprints out just in time to see the doors swing open, revealing Liam walking out like a total boss, victory secured. After all that drama, they head straight to the hot springs to chill. Our MC makes it crystal clear he is never stepping foot in that hellhole again. But the gatekeeper just smirks, noting that Liam actually looks pretty damn good. Usually folks stumble out of there with 1,000-yard stares, completely broken by what they saw, driven by curiosity. Liam hits him with the big question, how did my old man handle it? The Guardian chuckles, admitting his dad walked out just as ice cold, claiming his training was wrapped, and he just wanted to clock out and go home. Still, even that performance doesn't stack up to what our boy just pulled off. He crushed the record, becoming the youngest legend to ever conquer the blood dream. The Guardian asks if he's a glutton for punishment, but Liam shakes his head. He's taking his remaining time to chill before diving back into the clan's insanity. But before he punches out, there's one loose end he needs to tie up. It's time to cash in on that little threat he made earlier. And he insists the ask is simple. Let me borrow your Dokabi club. The request hits the Guardian like a truck. He points out that's not a toy for humans. He wouldn't even be able to lift it, let alone swing it. But the MC claps back. He doesn't want to swing it. He just wants to touch it once. Cornered, the Guardian sighs and caves, summoning the beast of a weapon, figuring a quick look can't hurt. But the second it manifests, Liam is floored. The club materializes right there, forged from literal star fragments, looking even more insane up close. The moment the Guardian lets go, gravity does the rest. The weapon slams into the dirt, dragging Liam down, because it's immovable. Half amused, half worried, the Guardian wishes him luck and says he'll check on the kid in 1 hour. Liam has to burn almost every drop of his mana just to drag the thing into a training hall. The scary part, this isn't even its true form. He shudders thinking about the legends that say if the Guardian unleashed its full potential, this thing could summon typhoons and turn him into a walking natural disaster. But Liam isn't here for the muscle. He's here for the hidden wisdom. With the clock ticking, he pours his dark energy into the metal, trying to hack into its memories. Suddenly, a massive shockwave blasts through his system, and a mysterious voice booms. What the hell do you think you're doing? The mental backlash slams him into the floor, but Liam grins. It's a W, even if he only lasted 1 second. Before getting brutally rejected, the fact that he breached the memory at all proves something huge. He can absorb its knowledge and wield weapons that defy human logic. Cut to time flies, and the full year marks its end. Packing his bags, it's time to bounce. But he's not leaving without dropping a parting gift for the Guardian. He promises to visit, and naturally the old drunk demands top-shelf liquor. Then Liam gets serious. Are you actually happy rotting away on this mountain? The Guardian shrugs. Satisfaction isn't the point. This is his turf, and this is where he stays. But there's a dark undertone, like he's a prisoner. Still, he brushes it off, insisting it is what it is and Liam shouldn't sweat it. He puts on a chill act, but Liam sees right through it. One day Liam vows, I'll help you restore your name. That stops the Guardian cold. A 14-year-old brat shouldn't know that deep lore. Liam just keeps walking, tossing back. When that day comes, I'll need your help. The Guardian watches him go, thinking this kid is built different. Here's the tea. Ages ago, a dokebi roamed the earth, causing absolute chaos. Until he got clapped by a human who shattered his pride so bad he swore to stay on the mountain and guard the zone forever. That's the official story, the noble protector bit that everyone knows. But the grim reality, after the clan founder beat him down, he ordered the creature to cease his rampage, stripping the goblin of his name as punishment. But in this world, a name isn't just a label, it's your very soul. The founder essentially stole his essence. With one cruel condition, he can only get it back if a blood descendant voluntarily returns it. That's why he's chained to this rock. Though honestly, he hasn't hated his time here. Still, the thought of freedom gets his heart racing. Could that little monster actually pull it off? Cut to nightfall. Liam reaches the mountain base where his butler is already waiting like clockwork. He's whisked straight to the Patriarch's private training grounds. The big boss insisted on seeing him first. Liam is internally shook, but keeps his poker face. The Patriarch eyes him up, noting the insane gains. But Liam stays humble, replying that this hellish year only proved how much further he has to go. Things take a bizarre turn in the best way possible when the Patriarch actually cracks a joke, calling Liam a smooth talker. Our MC nearly flatlines right there. He didn't even know the old man was capable of laughter. Right on cue, the butler steps in to announce the tea is served. They move to a chill seating area right inside the training hall where the Patriarch starts making casual conversation. And I mean casual. He asks how Liam's been wanting the full story. Not a stiff status report, but a genuine heart-to-heart. He wants the raw details of his experience. Again, Liam is totally confused by this vibe shift, because he knows for a fact this is the first time his father has ever asked a child for feelings instead of data. So, Liam spills the tea on everything, and the old man is actually stoked that he didn't waste his time. But then comes the interrogation. Why did it take you so long to get down to the base? Liam plays it cool, saying he stopped by Mount Estima to pay respects to the ancestors, which is basically a fancy way of saying he went snooping, or rather investigating the founder's tomb. He also makes it clear he wanted to flex on the elders. The tension spikes when the Patriarch calls him out, noting that he's clearly working on his PR. It's pretty cocky for someone who just made a minor breakthrough. Normally Liam would fold and apologize, but with the black twilight looming, he knows he needs to step up his game. So he doubles down. He refuses to be seen as just some bastard child. He demands to be recognized as a worthy heir to the family name. And guess what? That was the right answer. The Patriarch lets it slide, simply telling him to watch his step from now on. But we aren't done yet. Dad drops the hammer. Liam had clearance to enter the mountain, sure, but he did not have permission to run the blood sleep trial. Deception requires punishment. With that scary thought hanging in the air, he orders Liam to grab his swords. It's throwdown time. He wants to see exactly what the kid learned. For real. Liam realizes he walked right into a setup. His dad had this battle planned from the very beginning. He grips his blade stance solid, ready for war. The Patriarch just stands there calm as a bomb and says one word, attack. Liam instantly flares his magic eyes, trying to get a read on his opponent to snag an advantage. But here's the problem, he can't see a thing. No mana, no energy flow, zero aura. His magic eyes are nowhere near strong enough to read the techniques of a monster on this level. He shuts them off to save mana, telling himself there's no point in testing the waters or warming up against his dad. It's all or nothing. He launches himself forward, unleashing the first form of Limitless, the Demon Slayer technique. He stacks it with wind magic to hit ludicrous speeds. It's a combo he knows won't win the fight, but he's desperate to land at least one scratch on the old man. But for a few heart-stopping moments, the Patriarch doesn't even twitch. Then, at the absolute last microsecond, he responds. With a move so simple it looks lazy, yet it completely obliterates Liam's entire assault, like he was swatting a fly. But the impact is insane. The residual energy triggers a shockwave of dust and debris, forcing Liam to cover up just to avoid getting shredded. The Patriarch insists he's seen enough, asking if this is the answer Liam found after meeting with the founder. Liam stands his ground, confidence unshaken. He says yes. He reached the conclusion that he has to max out, the unique talent that belongs only to him. Even if he knows it's a brutal, lonely grind, that nobody else will understand, he's ready to walk that path without cracking or hesitating for a second. The twist, the Patriarch doesn't roast him. Instead, he asks how the trial felt. Liam admits he can't even put it into words. His dad nods, telling him that if he can't explain it, it means he hasn't finished learning from it yet. He points out that the attack Liam just threw wasn't his peak performance, but he hands the sword back to the butler, admitting that if Liam had come at him with a different attitude, he would have crushed him. However, his reaction exceeded expectations. Now the old man is curious about Liam's next move. Liam seizes the opportunity. According to the rules, he should be stuck with the other cadets for the third-year course, but he's clearly leveled up way past the other kids his age. So he asks for a hall pass to skip all that school drama and travel the world as a wandering swordsman. Funny enough, the patriarch saw this coming a mile away. He figured everything Liam did up to this point was to unlock this specific freedom. Liam admits it, though he doesn't give a straight-up yes or no. The patriarch agrees to think it over, but leaves him with a warning. Trying to kill too many birds with one stone might end up hanging you. Liam can't tell if that was a threat, a warning, or a straight-up compliment. But he lays it out. The wandering swordsman's journey is the ultimate vibe check for every descendant of the Lee bloodline. The goal: stack up enough martial power to hit adulthood solo, zero help from the clan. And here's the kicker: the results have to be so insane that anyone would recognize the flex. Usually this happens at 18, but the patriarch knows Liam's already proving he's on par with any class 5 warrior. Bottom line, the old man is convinced he can pull this off, wondering how this move will light a fire under his siblings. Surprisingly, he only thinks it over for 5 seconds before giving the green light, right there. The journey is a go, but only if Liam clears 2 specific conditions. Cut to the clan admin office. Our MC finally gets some FaceTime with Tenji after forever. The guy goes full proud uncle mode, gushing over how much the kid has grown, trying to spoil him with sweets. Liam passes hard. Gabriella already force-fed him until he felt like a balloon. But Liam notices Tenji looks completely drained. The uncle admits work has been a nightmare, which is actually perfect timing. Liam slides him a gift, a custom elixir he brewed himself to boost vitality. For a few days, Tenji cracks it open and is instantly shook. It doesn't smell like the usual stuff, and the kick is instant. The second he downs the pill, a surge of mana electric slides through his veins. He realizes that while this buff is active, anything he attempts is going to yield god-tier results. He's so floored he can't believe Liam cooked this up instead of a master alchemist. He warns the kid to keep that recipe on lockdown. It's worth way more than he thinks, and could save his skin later. Seeing someone actually care about him hits Liam right in the feels. Tenji asks if the rumors about the Wandering Swordsman arc are true, dropping a warning. This is going to trigger the elders big time. They'll start spreading favoritism rumors instantly. Since they can't touch Manuel, they'll use this excuse to dump all their hate on Liam. Plus, he points out that, even with the patriarch's thumbs up, they still need the elders' official sign-off. He asks if Liam shouldn't maybe pump the brakes on such a huge decision. Liam's like, I ain't got time for that, and tells him to chill, because he's already calculated the risks. His dad set 2 conditions he has to crush. Before leaving, he's gonna need Tenji's help for them. But cliffhanger alert, we don't get to hear the details, because Liam heads straight to his old training room. He starts stretching out, until someone shuts the door, with zero chill. He knows exactly who it is, his beloved aunt, who welcomes him with open arms for exactly 3 seconds before lunging at him in a rage, screaming about why he didn't visit her first instead of that stinky Tenji. Liam tries to drop the "it was business" excuse, but she's not hearing it. It takes a while for Genesis to cool off, but then she starts hyping up how much he's grown, especially realizing his mana pool has basically doubled in just 1 year. Liam adds that he's also finished mastering the base skills. Naturally, his aunt is so stoked, she insists she has a present waiting in the lab, fresh formulas for new techniques. But Liam shuts it down. He can't go with her because starting now he's going to be very, very busy. Suddenly, Manuel crashes the party and immediately gets chewed out by the woman too. Turns out he's here to train Liam to clear his dad's conditions. It's clarified here that he is actually cool with Genesis too. Liam asks how he's been, and Manuel says he's good. The only thing grinding his gears, finding out through rumors that his little bro went into the Celestial Mountain without asking for tips. Liam explains that when Dad gave the green light, he was already mid-mission, but they're about to bond big time because the patriarch himself asked Manuel to clear his schedule and put Liam through hellish training. And despite the hassle, he agreed, knowing leaving Liam to the elders would be a disaster. Oh, and the patriarch told him to stay ready. He doesn't say more, but Manuel reads between the lines. Even he hasn't been authorized to perform the blood seal. His dad wants him to step up his game before it's too late, pushing them to learn from each other while sparking a rivalry. For now, Manuel knows it's only a matter of time before Liam catches up to his level. The kid apologizes for being a burden. Manuel shuts that down instantly, hitting him with the facts he is the only one with a master-level license and the free time to actually mentor him. And we aren't talking about a driver's license here. This certification proves he has inherited every single technique in the Lee clan's arsenal, including the ancient forbidden arts. Fun fact, obtaining those scrolls was the one condition his dad slapped on him before he could leave on his journey. Liam tries to push back, insisting he could have just dumped this job on the clan elders. But Manuel drops a reality bomb. Bro, those old geezers hate your guts. There is no way they would teach him without sabotage. Finally, Manuel realizes something: he can't track the mana flow in certain parts of the MC's body. That means the kid is leveling up for real. Manuel realizes he needs to step up his game if he wants to keep his cool big brother status intact. Suddenly, Genesis interrupts, totally sick of being treated like invisible furniture. She storms off, clearly salty about the situation. Liam immediately goes into damage control, shouting that their grocery store run is still on. The second training wraps up. He just begs her to have a little patience with his grind. A few extra compliments do the trick, and Genesis finally lowers her guard, waving goodbye with a happy smile. Manuel grips his sword, signaling that playtime is over. He vows to drill every single one of their father's conditions into Liam until he is absolute perfection, promising to pass down everything he knows. Cue a 1-week time skip. Liam's internal monologue. This training feels deceptively simple. Not easy, simple, but straightforward. Manuel keeps the theory lectures brief, leaving the rest of the day for non-stop zero-break sparring. They go at it like there is no tomorrow, an endless duel that feels less like practice and more like a legitimate deathmatch. For his part, Manuel has absolutely zero chill. He insists it is better to etch these lessons into his flesh, rather than wasting breath on words. With the protagonist face planted on the floor, Manuel barks at him to stand up, fire up those magic eyes, and actually analyze his movements. Desperate, the MC obeys, but he is running on fumes. His attacks are sloppy, shaky, and his body is screaming quit. He can't keep up with the rain of blows coming from every angle at breakneck speed. And just when Liam thinks, okay, surely he can't get any faster, Manuel hits the gas, taunting him not to be scared, because Lee family genetics make them walking tanks. He almost gouges Liam's eye out. Pure survival instinct kicks in, and Liam's body moves on autopilot. He barely manages to dodge. Manuel doesn't say it out loud, but he is secretly impressed, noting the kid has a rock-solid foundation and crazy versatility. He wonders if Liam picked that up during the Founders trial. But good isn't good enough. Manuel decides it is time to crank the difficulty slider up to nightmare, daring him to keep up. Liam braces himself, realizing his brother is not bluffing. They keep this intensity up until late afternoon. Manuel finally apologizes for going full psycho mode, but even though he beat the MC to a pulp, and the training hall is absolutely trashed, the protagonist tells him this is exactly what he needed.